thought I was prepared, but I'm not.
You're not?
No, I wanted something to write on.
We're back.
Hey.
That was a terrible start, Jerry.
Why? We can start however we want. It's our show.
Yeah. Here you go. There you go.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, we're back.
We are back with another episode of your favorite podcast ever, Snarf Talk.
Snarf Talk Podcast. We got a doozy lined up for you today. We got a bunch of news. I got a tons of stuff I've been watching.
Really? I got quite a few things.
I might have an interesting topic to posit later.
Ooh. Okay.
But most importantly, we can introduce our special guest.
He's never been on the video podcast before.
Oh, that's true. He hasn't.
Yeah. First time.
Thank you for having me
to
back.
The audience.
Thank you guys for having me back after my walkabout.
Dude went on Walkabout.
I got fucking bored not having any free time and just decided to go to Iowa and work nonstop.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were gone for a long time.
Yeah.
I forgot who you were.
I doubt that, Jerry. you missed me.
For all our new podcast listeners, which there are aplenty.
Yes.
By the way, we've been growing by leaps and bounds, if you will. Maybe not leaps and bounds, but definitely at least bounds.
Like frog leaps.
Yeah.
Frog leaps.
Oh, can I interject?
Bounds.
Thank you to Mike Sheedy for letting me come back on.
Oh, yeah.
It's very nice of him.
He doesn't make decisions. Yeah. He just does the production.
Yeah. He's a gracious producer.
Yeah.
Gracious?
Yeah. That's the wrong word.
But anyway, for any new listeners, the dude, if you don't know, this is what, your fourth appearance?
I lost track, tell you the truth.
I think 4.
It's number 4.
I enjoy it so much.
And if you look back into the past, one of our earliest episodes in season 1, I believe, was The Dude Abides. That was his first appearance, and then I think he's been back a couple times since then. So I think
4.
Officially now, at 4, you're our longest running guest.
You are now.
Cool.
Because I think Pagoda was on 3 of them, right?
He had you beat for a while there.
Well, you were tied. They were tied, I think, at 4, and now you are the leading guest.
You
That's
are
awesome.
the wind beneath Snarf's wings.
Nice. That singing voice, man. We need to do another.
It's amazing. Snarfioki.
Boy, when we were on our way back from the Renaissance Fair,
we had some exciting things planned.
We tapped into our inner creative.
Yeah.
And we planned a lot of musical things.
Music videos.
Yeah, a bunch of music videos. When these will ever happen, I have no idea.
We were quite intoxicated.
Did you guys sing Visceral by Bush?
No.
Glycerine, you mean?
Glycerine, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Is that, we do need to do lightning crashes, though.
We sang Glycerine, I thought.
Yes.
Yeah, we did do Glycerine.
That's on the lost episode.
That will be for our Patreon subscribers.
Yeah, only one of them, I think, will get that at this
Speaking
point.
of that, let's do a shout-out real quick on our new Patreon subscribers. We've got another one this week.
We do.
Our very favorite, the show favorite, Erica Fry, has
she
pledged
is a
at the $25 level, so she is a Duchess of Snarf.
Or a Duke.
Whatever.
Right? Whatever you want to be called. Remember, we talked about that.
Yeah.
I'll call you a Duchess to your face.
Yeah.
You know?
The great thing about that level...
You're so badass, Jerry.
Yeah.
It scares me.
Aren't I?
The great thing about that level that she pledged at is it's not like a BS donation level. Like you're going to get a monthly subscription box.
Yes.
Every month you get a subscription box, bi-monthly, but we're going to put 2 months worth of stuff in it.
Yep.
And it's going to be full of content that we've curated. Not our content, but like we're going to buy comic books. Whatever we see that's interesting, we're going to throw in that box and we're going to ship it to her.
It's just going to be a fat load of content.
Yeah, and you also get unlimited T-shirt. Well, not unlimited, but you get a T-shirt, and then anytime we make a new T-shirt, you get one automatically.
You do.
You get all the new stickers and bonus podcasts.
You know what they recently just got?
What's that?
The first page of our comic book, Fourth Reich.
Oh, they did. Our Patreon subscribers just recently got that. Exclusive.
It's the very first page that we ever wrote in a comic book.
Let's tease this because I think in the next couple weeks, for our Patreon subscribers, we're going to launch at the $5 level, so the podcast level, a little podcast called Snarf Talk Origins.
Yes.
A Lost Origin episode.
It's a doozy
that we recorded. It'll be it was long, so we'll edit it down probably in a couple.
It was a long.
Is that the night after EJ Cars when you guys were drunk?
No. This was before we started the podcast. It was the first episode.
And Nate was on. Pagoda was on.
Yeah, Nate was on it. Young Nathan was on it, and we just did it in front of my little handy H2 recorder.
Yeah.
It was before we had any microphones.
I don't even remember what the audio sounds like.
And actually, I loved that podcast because we went like in depth on our histories.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. And then
Wow,
we did
that sounds really exciting.
It actually was.
And we did it twice, though.
Yeah.
So we went in depth on our history once, and then after like 2 hours, we realized it was not recording.
So we started completely over.
And did it all over again.
Yeah.
That was.
And me and Jerry might have taken our own little Snarf Talk road trip that night live on air.
We did.
Probably won't be releasing that section of the audio.
We did, didn't we? Well, we might.
I'm just assuming it's not very good because it was in the car.
Were you drunk?
No.
Yeah, it was
No,
in
it probably
your,
was very good then.
it was in your truck. Yeah.
So anyway, that'll probably be coming out within the next month for our listeners.
Yep.
So if you haven't joined up on Patreon yet, you need to do it. Even if, hey guys, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't want to, just do the $1.
Yeah.
$1 a month.
$1.
You'll put it on your credit card. You'll sign up. You'll never remember you did it. $1 will go away every month, and you'll be none the wiser.
Yeah. Completely right. Because, like I said on the last one, it's
But
like
$5 level also, you won't even realize, and that would be even more helpful.
I go to the gas station and spend so much money.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous, and none of it I need. I need none of
Are
the
you a
things
scratch
that I
off
get.
ticker?
No.
Oh, come on.
It's like 5 hour energy and
Oh.
garbage.
Hey, I got something for you. It's called Woke AF.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because at the plant I was working at, the plant
I've heard of it
manager,
from you. That's right.
he outlawed energy drinks in the plant. Just because.
No kidding?
Yeah, done.
This is a troubling. Let's time out on that.
Like, go ahead.
'Cause
What,
this
put a
is
pin
like
in
the-
that? Oh,
yeah,
put a pin in that. Put a pin in that.
This is like the 5th company I've heard of doing this, outlawing energy drinks. I think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Put a pin in it. Put a pin in it.
I mean, what is the reason?
Well, I guess we're going to take the pin out of it. These guys were drinking too much of them in the summertime and not hydrating, and so that's what they drank all day is energy drinks instead of water and Gatorade.
I know some people that I work with. That,
But yet, unlimited coffee.
Oh, yeah, you have 20 cups of coffee a day.
Same
Yeah.
amount of caffeine.
I have no argument, but could you imagine outlawing coffee at a plant where there's 1,200
that's
people
what
a
I mean.
shift?
It's
It's
the
the
same-
taurine.
Yeah.
That's what you need to
Oh,
get
yeah.
away from.
Well, so this Woke AF
It's
it's
the
a
taurine.
pre-workout drink that is amazing. I didn't have it because it reminded me of like cocaine, so I was like staying away from it.
So is it a big can, like a regular can?
Yeah, just like a regular can.
It's like whey protein.
Only have 1 tablespoon per 24 hours. That's how potent the crap was. And a couple guys.
you got to mix it yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
So guys were putting their water
You
bottles
gotta
like.
put it
like
in your Hulk Hogan Thunder mixer.
that's right.
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Oh,
A thunder mixer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, brother.
At prom, we got Hulk Hogan Thunder mixers
Really?
for our prom thing.
I don't remember. Any
I
of that.
don't remember my prom.
Well, I'm just telling you.
But
The high
because you
school.
like
Put a
sex
pin in what you're talking about, dude.
Again.
Because the high school had a program with some company where they sent them like pallets of just like junk.
Really?
You don't remember that?
No.
They would send them like pallets of like excess stuff.
Weird. Sounded like
So-
high school wasted money.
One time it was a pallet of Hulk Hogan Thunder mixers, which were these little battery powered blenders. But like another time,
Like a hand blender? Or
yeah,
like
it was like a handheld battery powered blender.
So does anybody see a problem with handing that out at prom besides me?
That's a good point. But one time when the Phantom Menace came out, they had a whole pallet of the Pod Racer helmets.
Really?
Yeah, I got 2 of them from that.
Can I have
And you still have them?
Yeah, I still have them.
Do you wear it?
Oh yeah, I wear it every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I wear it when I mow ditches.
That's
you
kind
know.
of sad.
It's
Yeah,
got
you
the
need
little
to-
goggles.
You should wear it to
awesome.
the next podcast. I don't believe you.
I
That
got. I
would be
definitely got.
neat.
It. I should wear
You
it.
really should bring that in and wear
Anyway,
it.
take that pin out. We're talking about energy drinks and how I think it's ridiculous to ban adults from
Yeah.
drinking whatever the hell they want to drink.
It's a safety concern.
Well,
I can understand.
Is coffee?
No, it
Here's-
doesn't
How's
have
it
the
any
same
different?
thing.
Here's
Because
how it
has
is.
a bunch more stuff in it.
It
So-
doesn't have more caffeine, which is the only thing that makes you woke AF.
No.
Yeah.
There's also
Boom.
B vitamins.
I don't buy the other things in energy drinks. I don't think they're contributing to the energy. I think it's the caffeine.
No, they're contributing to your demise.
Yeah.
They're
I don't
bringing
think
you
so.
down. That's what's killing you.
I don't think so.
So it turns out when
The
you're on
taurine.
private property and you're the guy in charge of that private property, you can do whatever the hell you
Well,
want.
I mean, I guess if you want to be a dick,
See, here's what happens.
that's the problem.
The taurine gets in your blood and gets to your heart, and then it's like bull in a china shop.
Do you even know what taurine is?
No, I have no idea. I think it's bull's piss.
Is it bull semen?
Piss.
Okay.
Piss.
Straight
yeah,
piss.
Yeah, come on. Chris. You're a smart guy. You should know what it is.
I'm positive it's bull
Yeah.
piss. It's proven.
Is it in
I'm
Red
like
Bull?
99.5%.
No, it's not in Red Bull. Actually, it is. I think it is in Red Bull.
That's why they call it Red Bull, because the bull is peeing blood.
Oh,
you know?
because it's so woke AF.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
The mystery has been solved.
Boom. It's bull piss.
All right. Where were we? What were we talking about?
Well, you know what I'm going to talk about?
What?
You know what really stretches my springs, Chris?
What stretches your springs, Gerald?
This is a new segment.
Oh.
Stretches my springs. It's kind of like
grinds my gears.
grinds my gears,
But with
this
less
is
copyright infringement.
right. So we call it stretches my springs.
Gotcha.
Here's what stretches my springs. My kid, I thought kids were the
Your
only
kid
ones.
stretches my strings too.
He should. Which one? I thought this was only a kid thing, where they get like a plastic bottle and then they squeeze it to drink everything.
Yeah.
And they just crush the water bottle or whatever it is to drink out of.
Yeah.
And I yell at him all the time, like, drink like a normal human being.
Yeah, because it's obnoxious.
Quit crushing the bottle. Then when I was in the airport, again, I thought this was only a kid thing. 2 adult males sitting there crushing water bottles as they drink.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did in front of me.
They weren't adult males then.
Well, I don't. Yeah,
They
Were they
lounge
huge?
pieces of garbage.
I mean,
exactly.
Were they
I
like
watched him drinking
They
this.
were just massive guys, and they were trying to impress
No,
like some
normal
chicks?
people with a flimsy water
I
bottle.
hope that crushing a water bottle, plastic water bottle, does not
And he's-
impress anybody.
He's sitting there just crushing it as he drank, and then he put the lid back on with this crushed bottle and put it in his bag. And that same man sat next to me on the plane, and I
Oh,
sat there
my
like,
God.
"You son of, like, who are you?
It's
What kind of human being?"
It's an unforgivable crime, right?
I completely think so. And if any of the listeners are doing that, stop it.
There's only one acceptable time to do that, and it's if it's like 100 degrees out and you've been digging a ditch for an hour and a half in the sun,
Or
and you just want to get the water into
Yeah,
your
and- yeah.
face
or
as
if
fast
you're
as
pretending
possible.
to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, you know, like
totally acceptable.
that, like if you crush
miss
it on
so-
your head
He was so
and then
awesome.
drink it, that's acceptable. Other than that, you should never do that.
Right.
You're not like, I don't even understand how it's like socially acceptable for people to do that in public.
Now you can squeeze a squeeze bottle,
Well, it's supposed to be done that
but
way.
they're
Yes,
like of a different integrity.
it is completely different. Those
They're meant to be squeezed.
most water bottles now are that really
The
thin plastic,
crinkly plastic.
and you crush it and it's ruined.
Yeah.
And that
What's dude doing over there?
it stretches my springs, and it more so than anything, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
That's what it
we
does.
forgot to unplug the
I
refrigerator.
got so
Oh, okay.
angry at this man.
Does anything stretch your springs for our new segment?
Oh, I didn't have time to prepare for
Oh, that's
that one.
fine. We'll do another. We always do stretches my springs.
Yeah, that's the
I have
only
a
thing I
minor. It's kind of a spring stretcher,
Okay,
Later.
string stretcher.
but it's also part of like a bigger thing I want to talk about. So I'm not going to bring it up yet.
okay. That's fine. So we'll just get right into
Let's
the
get
news.
into the
then.
news. Let's get right into it. Right into the meat and potatoes.
Well, I'm going to start off with on a sad note. I like a lot of different kinds of music, right? Music is a great thing. I love
I like
older
Bush. I like Live. I like
Nickelback.
Nickelback.
Yeah.
I like Bush. I like
Gavin Rossdale when he was on his own.
I like Stained.
Gwen Stefani.
Puddle of Mud. Creed.
Oh,
Go
my
on.
gosh. Scott Stapp when he was on his own. I don't think he ever went on his own. I think he
No.
went straight into alcohol rehab and then lost all of his money, and he's doing really
I like
poorly.
them all when they're on their own. You know,
Yeah. Solo.
I didn't need this awesome band.
Chris Cornell
Anyway,
when he was on his own.
So I do like a lot of different music, and there was a man named Eddie Money. 2 tickets to paradise. He
That's
took
right.
one of them because he died.
Oh.
Uh,
I thought
self-inflicted
I
or
heard
just
that.
old age?
Oh, it was stage 4 esophageal cancer.
Ew.
He was sick for a long
Couldn't
time.
have been
but
very old.
He was
70.
on a commercial.
He was 70 years old.
That's
What
pretty young,
commercial
though.
was he on? And it was a travel agency or some Expedia maybe.
Probably.
And
He was singing 2
he's
tickets to
to
paradise, I'm
Paradise.
sure. He really only had like 4 solid hits.
That's a lot of hits. 4?
I mean,
All
when
right,
you start
well,
in the 70s,
let's see what it had.
not so much.
That's a lot of hits. To have
You think
4
so?
hits. You know how hard it is to make one hit and then to make 4 of them?
He's got Hold On to Me, like Baby Hold On to Me.
Baby, hold on to me.
2
That
tickets
one?
to paradise. And I don't remember the others.
I got two
Take Me Home
tickets to
Tonight.
Paradise.
Take me home tonight.
I don't want to
Shakin'?
let you go. Oh, yeah. Shaking.
Which one's
She
Shakin'?
was shaking.
Oh,
Tapping her finger. Or snapping her finger.
wrapped around.
Baby,
my-
hold on. We
Oh.
talked about that one. I want to go back. Nah. Yeah, that's about it. The rest of them, I don't know.
He didn't sing Money, right?
No, that was Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a joke. Now I get it.
Zing!
The Wall.
Yes. It was on the wall. Yeah.
I
No,
saw-
it wasn't. Money's on.
It's on Dark Side of the Moon.
Yep.
Dang it! I was so close.
Yeah.
Because I seen Dark Side of the Mule. And so
Oh,
did
yes.
you.
That
and
was
they
awesome.
played Money.
Dark Side of the Mule was awesome.
If you guys want to go see something awesome, go see Dark Side of the Mule.
Yeah, Amy, not so much of a fan.
Well, if you like Pink Floyd.
But yeah, I was.
Okay. I was
in it.
wondering what the hell you guys were talking about.
And
It's,
the Avett Brothers played before them, and that was really
the
good.
Avett Brothers, who played
I
last
think it's
weekend.
Avett. It's not Avett.
They played last weekend at Northerly Island. I was supposed to go. I didn't go.
Oh, really?
No, they're playing tomorrow, this Friday,
Oh,
at Northerly Island. But I'm not going. But, okay, so there's a band called Government Mule. I don't know if you've heard of them. But
I have not.
They've been around for a long time. They're kind of a jam bandy. They're not like mainstream popular, but in the jam band world, they're very popular.
They're no
Yes.
Eddie Money.
Not pop music wise.
Yeah, he was
but I
poppy.
mean they're very, very big in like the Grateful Dead community. Let's put it that way.
same genre.
Deadheads. Oh man.
Well, I mean just like jam band stuff in general. Anyway, they do a tour called Dark Side of the Mule, where they only do Dark Side of the Moon. Really? Did they do other Pink
No,
Floyd
I
songs?
think they did other Pink Floyd songs. I think they
They
just
do.
call it Dark Side of the Mule.
It's like a
'cause
Pink
it's
Floyd
catchy.
cover night. They don't even
Gotcha.
do any of their own songs.
No, and it was awesome.
And it
Really
was
love
good.
it.
They're like amazing, and they do the whole laser light show and everything. I mean, it's great.
Yep. All right, more news.
Dark Side of
So
the Mule.
here's the weird part. So we talked. It's like people hear us when we speak and are listening
Yeah.
to what we say. People like at Disney. I feel like they're listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say this is because they came out with a few of the shows that are going to be on Disney Plus.
Yes, sir, they did.
DuckTales,
Yep.
Tailspin, Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck.
I'm excited about Darkwing Duck.
Oh, so am I. We were just discussing this on the very last podcast, episode 41, Eaten by a Whale. And we talked about all these Saturday morning cartoons and everything that we loved
You're
like
missing
growing
two
up.
biggies that they announced.
Which ones?
Yeah.
Spider-Man, the animated series.
No, that was my next thing. I was getting into that. Also, Spider-Man and X-Men, the animated series.
That's
will
huge.
Also be
You know how
on
many
there.
people will subscribe just for X-Men?
I know. It's incredible.
Well, I have very fond memories of the '90s X-Men, which
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping they'd do a reboot and have it be like that.
Well, they've done several reboots of X-Men after that. None of them were as good as that original
just-
series.
none of them
Well, if they would
They
follow
did
the
one that
damn
was
comic
pretty
book.
good called Wolverine and the X-Men, where he was kind of the he was
Oh,
kind of the-
animate. You mean animated?
Yeah,
There's X-Men Evolution. I think
yeah,
that was
there
it.
was X-Men Evolution,
which
but
that
was
was
a different team, though, wasn't it? I don't remember that one.
yeah. I didn't watch
They
it.
were
I was
all
a little
not
older.
bad. None of them were bad.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, because they're
remember any of
animated,
those.
and that's what makes them better because they can do weirder crap.
Disney Plus is going to put every other streaming service through the ringer
Well,
for quite a while.
I know.
Speaking
Notice.
of Disney Plus, guess
Yeah.
what comes out November 12th?
Yeah,
Disney Plus?
The Mandalorian.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about it. We
Yeah,
talked
I
about
can't-
Have you?
the trailer.
Yeah,
and
did you watch the trailer
Yeah,
to it?
it looks amazing.
Amazing.
Unbelievable.
Well,
the amount of money that these people are throwing out on this stuff
Yeah.
is incredible.
So there's several guys at work started listening to the podcast because I told them about it.
Perfect.
Because I put it on
Thank you.
Facebook, and they love your guys' podcast. It's awesome. When we started talking about the Mandalorian, and we can talk about this later. They're excited about it. So more of the guys who aren't really comic book guys like we are ask, "What's it about?" I go, "Have you heard of Boba Fett?" Yeah. They go, well, it's supposed to be Jon Favreau who did Iron Man, the Jungle Book, Swingers, all that stuff, and put them in Game of Thrones. And they're like, what? I go, that's what it's supposed to be like, is that type of a mentality, but it's Star Wars based. Like, oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm looking really a lot to Mandalorian.
It's going to be amazing.
I mean, just having
just looking at the production value, it looks like Rogue One. I mean, it looks like a movie quality.
I mean,
effect.
and not
just look
that
at anything Jon Favreau has done in the past
Oh yeah, everything is touched. I mean, he's basically the reason. I mean, Marvel really took off.
There's three There's three like premier directors right now. Him, JJ.
Oh yeah.
And well, I mean, there's more than three, but
right, there's quite a few.
Yeah,
but I know what you mean. But he's the whole reason the Marvel Cinematic Universe took off because he did Iron Man. He brought in
Robert Downey Jr. He was at the low point of his career. I mean, if you look back at what Marvel did, take Jon Favreau, who was not a mainstream director by any means, and then take Robert Downey Jr., who literally got out of jail, was it 6 months to a year before Iron Man?
It wasn't long.
And then we're gonna do this movie, and they're like, Iron Man. I remember seeing it in theaters, and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. Everything. And then,
yep,
we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what he does. Yep. And it's not that I think production value is what makes everything good. That's not true. But seeing the production value. I mean, I have all the faith in the world that they're going to write
I have
a
an
good
example
show,
when we get to what we're watching of a situation where all the right pieces are in place and the production value's there, and they missed. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, and while you're talking on podcast stuff, because you were bringing up...
I'm pretty sure I was talking about, Disney Plus.
Well...
Yeah, but it was based on something.
What we were talking about. Yeah, what we were talking about last time.
I got... two interesting things, unless you're ready to move on from that.
Yeah, go for it. I don't care.
Two things I forgot to mention at the top of the show about the podcast.
Oh, okay. What were those?
One was the growth we've seen, but the massive surge in popularity of the state of Maryland.
Yeah. Maryland apparently listens to our show quite a bit.
Big time.
Thank you, Maryland.
It was like more than 25% of our listens over the last week.
It was over a third, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Out of the state of Maryland, and I don't know why. And a bunch of Michigan.
That's awesome.
Big on the East Coast.
A bunch of Michigan as well.
Michigan, there's just the one from New York, and you know where it is?
Coxsackie,
New York.
A bunch of UK too.
You're fucking with me, right?
Double digits in the UK.
Oh yeah, you weren't on that episode. That was when Tim was here. I shouted out to our one listener from Coxsackie, New York. And that's
awesome.
A real place.
It's not a made up place at all.
Yeah, they're coming from all over the place, and so I posted a thing on Reddit about our issues with the formatting. So recently we switched podcast hosting websites.
Yes,
this is a little like inside baseball, but so we had a one host site. We went to a different host site.
They're now hosted by Podbean.
Podbean, yes, that is our hosting site. I like them. I think their stats are really, really great.
The statistics are way better, and that's the main reason why we switched.
Something occurred when I moved the episodes from our original podcasting host to the new one. All the episodes switched over just fine. You have to do a 301 redirect of your RSS feed. That's something nobody cares about, but that went over just well. It took like 30 minutes. It ended up working. I thought everything was golden. Chris noticed right away formatting of what our episode description, basically, and the show notes, is completely wrong. It smushed everything together. So all of our links are smushed. They still probably
It rendered the HTML inoperable.
Yes, it did, and it's annoying. To say the least, because it adds a lot more work for us to fix that.
And to a certain extent, some of it's just not going to get fixed. So.
Right. It probably won't, and it is what it is. It's just kind of messing up the links a little bit on there. We've fixed quite a few.
Yeah.
I think quite a few look pretty good. But anyways, I posted about that on Reddit to see what people would say about it. Quite a few of them agreed and said they had the same issue. They also agreed about the support stuff.
Terrible.
And then one guy said that you need to look at the RSS feed because inside of it you could see the difference between the two just on the episodes. Like if you look at each individual episode, it'll show differences apparently on how it's put together. I don't know. That's above my head.
Meh.
Anyway, but what happened was people were asking me why we switched. I started talking about how I didn't feel like the stats from our original show host were that accurate, and I had one of the co-founders from that host start replying to me, and they're like, I'm saying he, it could be a she, I guess. was saying that they are absolutely accurate, and they feel they're more accurate than everybody else's.
Ooh.
And they were arguing with me quite a bit. And then I said, well, I started seeing differences when we switched to show like more users. Like I felt like they were holding back on users because what they claim to be, or downloads, I mean, what they claim to be a download and what others are claiming to be a download are less, you know. And they said, well, that's just bad statistics because they're probably counting multiple downloads. And he got into like a big long rant about it, but I don't think he was very appreciative of me saying that I didn't feel like. But I also put in my statement on there, like my remark, that I said I am basing this off of nothing other than my own opinion.
Well, one of
Like,
them's backed by the governing standard of podcast statistics.
Oh, I told him that, and he said that they were too, but they just don't list it on their website. I said maybe you should list it on your website.
Yeah, that's a huge selling point.
So I don't know, but again, I like the statistics that we're getting now. I think the layout's a lot better. I also talked about the embedded player being better.
I do like our previous. At this point, I'm liking our previous podcast host better, but we'll see.
You think?
Yeah,
it's just more user friendly.
Yeah, definitely.
I think.
So quickly on that, that's enough inside baseball podcast
Yes.
stuff.
Whew.
Sorry.
That was exciting.
But when we're talking about the podcast, we did get an exciting new review on iTunes.
Oh,
I
really?
want to
did?
read and point out.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the podcast. Chris and Jerry have a very good on-air chemistry, and the episodes tend to feel very natural conversation. There have been debates on a number of topics, including movies, TV, current events, and of course comics. Several episodes have sparked me to explore media that I typically wouldn't have developed a deeper appreciation for several works of art that I knew little or nothing about previously. Very nice review.
Yeah, very good
What
review.
stands out to me is this review was left by none other than Trip McNeely.
Yeah, it says the Trip McNeely. Yeah.
Which, as we all know, was a character in the 1990s movie Can't Hardly Wait,
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's where it was.
played
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell. Yes.
So, my thought is that Jerry O'Connell uses the screen name Trip McNeely
Probably.
to comment on his favorite podcast. So we have officially been reviewed as a podcast by Jerry O'Connell.
Aren't you stretching it just
No,
a little bit?
Hollywood
Stretching
superstar
it just
Jerry
Jerry
O'Connell
O'Connell has
loves-
officially given us his stamp
Of approval.
of approval.
A+ rating.
So he's
Nice. Thank you.
so is he snarf talked or is it
Thank you,
I mean,
fellow Jerry.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
more-
like that. Good.
okay, that was a long way
Yeah.
to go.
Woo!
Back to the news.
Yep.
So another, not only is Disney Plus listening to us and listening to this podcast,
Yeah, I know.
so is Apple.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because Apple TV is going to put out a reboot
Another show that we talked about recently.
of Ghost Rider.
I loved Ghost Rider.
You brought it up and you said,
Yes.
do you remember the show Ghost Rider?
Loved
I
it.
love Ghost Rider.
We needed to. I agree. I did listen to the last episode. It was episode 40. I did not listen to. I had time.
Okay.
But we do need to talk about 90s TV shows sometimes because you were just naming them off like I watched it. I loved all of them.
Yeah.
And
We
because
definitely
they're-
thought halfway through we're like we need to have like a more thorough top 10
yeah.
Absolutely.
situation. That was like a last minute. We had no content prepared for that show.
So here's my question about Ghost Rider, though. How do you think they're going to reboot that? Because in the 90s, it was like a big deal for a computer, and it was like a green, the black with the
Right.
green
And
letters, and it was like typing.
It's so easy.
The kids would come over and they put the modem on top of the computer and they plug it in. You heard the
Yeah.
So it could be like
the
AI,
dial-up sound.
So
it
in
could
like
be anything.
Well, that's what I mean. Like nowadays, what's going to be?
I want to
different?
know the deal about the ghost. I want to see the origin story of the horrible death
Yeah.
of this child.
How do you know it was horrible?
He was a child detective. He got into a situation he shouldn't have been into. He got murdered.
He got in too deep.
He became a ghost.
Wow.
Came back. He says, "Mom, I'm in too deep. I
I
gotta get out."
missed a whole lot of episodes of that show apparently.
No, I'm saying that's what they need to do. For the
I
origin
know.
story.
I know.
And then he gets murdered. He comes back, and then he becomes the ghost, computer ghost
The
that
ice
helps
cream.
the other kids to
Ghost of the machine.
get his own murderer.
and it's the ice cream man, and they don't know about it.
Yeah.
And everybody loves the ice cream man. And they all run up to the truck. He knew that he was poisoning the ice cream,
Oh yeah.
turning
Wow.
people into
This is really
werewolves.
good. You know, they've already made a reboot of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Like recently?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a TV show on Netflix.
cartoon. Grace Gary's
Oh yeah, but it's not like a game show.
No, it's
like
not
an
the game
actual
show. It's an actual like animated
I've watched
show.
it a little bit. I didn't think it was very good.
Grace loves it.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Take
didn't
me
watch
watch
it
the
enough,
show. It's
so-
called Where in the
I
World's
never-
Carmen Sandiego. I'm like, what?
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? That was that lady.
You
remember
did that
lady?
so perfect.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
So,
So why
next
we?
news, more about Netflix. Netflix just had probably the single greatest purchase of all time.
What'd they
Seinfeld.
get?
Yes.
Yeah.
They bought Seinfeld.
They're only losing Friends and The Office.
Well, yeah, but what are you going to do? I mean, you can't get everything.
I thought they had friends
But,
like forever.
You know
No.
what they got complete global streaming rights of Seinfeld.
So apparently it's not been anywhere.
It's Hulu or Crackle had it.
Sony.
No,
Crackle had it.
Crackle had it because that's what his riding in cars and getting coffee with comedians was on, and now that is on Netflix also.
That's on
Yes.
Netflix now.
Yeah.
Man, so Crackle's owned by Sony. It's Sony streaming.
That's
network.
it.
Right.
But it doesn't seem like they're a big enough player to land in Seinfeld.
They had it for a while.
Wow, that's
Well,
I used to watch it when I was on shift, and it was on Crackle.
Well,
the thing about Crackle is it's free.
That was a long time
Well,
ago.
I was trying to find it where that's one of the reasons why they pulled the whole Spider-Man out of the Marvel Universe is to be able to put it on Crackle to have their own animated series to try to get Crackle going again, but it's never going to go.
It's never gonna
It's
go.
never gonna.
Stop it. Come on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean,
Sony
gonna
needs
get
to
that.
just make a deal with Netflix. Put
or
all
just
their content
or
on
just
Netflix.
go back to the deal with Disney they had and put all their shit on Disney's streaming service and be like,
I don't know if Disney will go for that.
So they haven't released how much exactly, or I guess I haven't seen it, how much exactly they bought the rights to that for. They had bought The Office for $500 million.
They spent $500 million on that.
they made
Holy cow!
they
And
made
they-
that back so fast.
Oh, well, there's a lot-
because
reportedly
The Office has been on there forever.
And there's a lot of people that only subscribe because of The Office.
Right. They reportedly spent a significant amount more to get Seinfeld on there.
That doesn't surprise me.
So
Although I do not think that Seinfeld will have the draw that The Office has.
No, that's
I do.
No,
No.
Yes,
the
I
thing
do.
about The Office
Yes,
is
it
it draws a
You gotta remember
female
when-
audience.
When was the last episode of Seinfeld? When did it air? 95, 96?
No,
No,
the last one was like
99.
90. I thought it was thinking like 98, but yeah, it was close to 2000.
I think that the key to Friends and Office is they pull a female viewership. Seinfeld doesn't.
Seinfeld has been the single largest show of all time for basically since it's been
I
out.
don't know if you know that though. Now with streaming, like now with The
Look
Office being on streaming for so long,
Google it. I guarantee you.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
It's been running in syndication for so long, I guess that would be hard to say.
I just
Yeah,
really
it's-
think that.
The difference is
Here's
that
what I don't understand.
Okay, it was
The
on.
Office hasn't really been syndicated, has it? Is it still running on like TBS
oh
or
yeah,
anything like that?
yeah, for
Is
sure.
it?
It's on all
Yeah.
the time.
So Seinfeld went to 98, the 29
So
seasons.
here's my question: does NBC Universal not own Seinfeld?
No.
They don't own it.
Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David
So they just
own
sold
Seinfeld.
the show. Okay. Because that was confusing to me because the reason they're pulling Friends and The Office is because NBC and Universal are coming out with their own streaming app.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So
I understand that.
that's why I got confused. I'm like, wouldn't Seinfeld be on that?
No, Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld have owned it forever. That's why
So
they're
that
like
totally makes sense to
bajillionaires.
go to Netflix because he's already on Netflix
Well,
with comedians.
yeah.
If
And
you
they
look-
probably said like, hey, you keep producing comedians in cars getting coffee. Although he was producing that show on his own.
Yeah, he paid for. Well,
He
On
paid
Sony.
100%. Yeah, but he paid. He
He-
made the show and
No,
then
I
he just
know.
sold it to whoever.
kind of
Right.
like Dave Chappelle did with
It's
his
not
comedy.
like it's hurting his pocketbook at all. He could create a whole movie on his own budget.
He's
Like,
a very
He did.
He's
B-movie.
very Hollywood savvy. If you ever look at some of
He
the young,
did?
Yeah,
what
B movie. He
I
made
didn't
that
know.
movie.
he
I
paid for
know
all of
that.
it. He was producer.
No kidding.
and comedian Jerry Seinfeld comedian.
What?
There's a movie called Jerry Seinfeld Comedian.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I wonder where
I
you're
didn't
going
need
with
to see
that.
that movie.
I've never
man.
seen that
No,
either.
neither
Yeah.
have I.
Yeah, it's like a behind the stage. It's like a documentary, like behind the stage of him building up his new set.
No kidding.
It's great.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Have you ever heard Dave Chappelle and some of the newer comedians talk about Seinfeld and how much? Because when he met Larry David, thank you. Larry David had already done one show. What was the show he did on HBO? I can't remember the name of it. It was
Curb
Your Enthusiasm?
No, before that there was another one. Larry Sanders Show.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he was a writer.
Oh,
on
yeah.
that.
He was a writer on that. So when Jerry Seinfeld came in when he was a comedian coming up, he told these younger comedians they're going to offer you the package where it's going to be a TV show, it's going to be this, and they're going to offer you a ton of money, and you're going to take it. Don't. I can't remember the name of the documentary, but all these young comedians are talking about how much they love Jerry Seinfeld because he warns them all, this is what's going to happen to you, and this is what they're going to offer you. And Chappelle was one of the ones that spoke out like, he warned me this was going to happen, and I did not listen to him at all.
Well, I know that I've heard Chappelle say before about Jerry Seinfeld. I've heard a lot of comedians say, like, he's not the funniest stand-up, but he's the hardest working. Mm-hmm. His work ethic
Oh, really?
is insane.
Yeah.
And his obsession with comedy
Right.
is unrivaled by any other
Because he will
human
just
being.
walk into a New York club out of nowhere and just do a set.
And
Just
he's,
see how it works
now
out.
and he's obsessed with it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's all he does and thinks about.
I
And
mean,
he's got
what's the deal with comedians?
He's got a true. I think he's got a true comedian mind where he like has no emotional weight to him at all.
Have you seen him speak and talk to people?
Well,
like, I don't think
you
he
can
does.
see it on comedians at cars getting coffee all the time. He does not care about anything. He's a complete nihilist about everything in the world except for comedy.
Yeah,
So, which-
you're right. Have you?
He's a
seen,
comedian. He that's how it should be.
Have you seen the video of him where he's being interviewed, and then Kesha, the singer, Kesha, she comes up to him while he's being interviewed, and this is all videotaped. And she comes up and she like taps him on the shoulder, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's really you." And he's like standing back like this, looking at her with his hands up. And she's like, "Can I have a hug?" He's like, "No, thanks. No thanks." And she's like, "Oh, come on, just one hug." And he just keeps doing this. No, thanks. And then she like kind of like puts her hands down and walks away. And he turns and looks back at the interviewer, and he's like, "Who was that? Who was this person?"
I have a lot
To be
of
fair,
respect.
who would recognize Kesha?
I wouldn't. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Jerry Seinfeld
hilarious.
for being a nihilist and only caring about comedians because there was an interview Johnny Carson gave back in the mid '80s about how they asked him, "How come you never tackled more serious subjects? How come you had a show? You should be doing more serious stuff like all the late night hosts do now." And Johnny Carson's response was, "I'm an entertainer. I'm a comedian. My job is not to tackle those serious things. It is to entertain. And once you go on to that next platform, you're no longer an entertainer. You are you're influencing people's opinion, and that's not my job."
Well,
that's what I love about him and Chappelle. Chappelle is just all over the board.
Oh my God. His new special is so good.
I haven't
I've
seen
had
it yet.
two people since we talked about it on the podcast that have came to me and said, and two people that I wouldn't necessarily expect, and said, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is good." And I'm like, it's the best.
The
It
first
was
four he
unreal.
released was insane. I mean, I really enjoyed the first
This is
one.
on a whole different level.
I haven't seen him yet. That was
really-
going to be this weekend.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet?
I haven't
Holy
had time.
smokes, it's really good.
I think the difference is now, between then and now, okay, here's the big difference. Outrage is entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
So people want to tune in and see the late night hosts go on a ridiculous tirade about whatever political thing's going on, because that's what's entertaining them now. Like, we live in a world where politics,
I don't understand
outrage,
that.
activism, these are entertainment.
Well, it's not
And,
so much.
and back in the day, that you wanted to be distracted from all that.
Yeah.
That's what entertainment was.
And here's my daughter got some bad grades this week. She brought home some bad papers, and I didn't yell at her, but I told her these are unacceptable. And I may have said it in too shrewd, too harsh of a tone, because she got upset. She's 10-year-old, blah blah blah. And she comes out. And she goes, "I don't like being upset." She goes, "I don't like the way how that makes me feel. You talk to me like that." And I'm like,
Good.
I fucking lost it. I'm like, "Hey, little girl, this is what's going to happen the rest of your life.
You don't want to like that. You shouldn't want to.
That's
like
what
that.
I told her. Those are almost the exact words. I said, "Well, if I do bad at work, do you think I my boss goes, "It's okay. You'll do better next time." No, I get yelled at, honey. I get in trouble. This is the rest of your life. You need to succeed and do good. I'm not telling you got to do perfect, because you need to do well. And going back to what you're saying, I think it's the generation that's coming up. They're not used to being yelled at.
It's not that generation. I mean, it starts probably more with our generation.
Yeah.
And maybe even the one ahead of us.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a long time. And I want to be clear. I don't know what's right? So I don't know if... I agree with you on what you just said, and I agree as a parent with everything that you just said.
Thank you.
But that doesn't mean
It's
that
right.
we're right.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, it could possibly be that
that's why they call
taking
it...
the complete opposite approach and being like, it's okay, and not having a standard to which you want your children to live up to is a better approach. It's very possible that's true.
That's why they call it belief.
There's no way for anybody to know that.
No, there is no way.
With any
And
certainty,
yeah.
because every kid, every person is
completely
different.
Yeah.
Every child is
And
completely
to say,
different. Everybody,
I suppose you could say on statistical average, this is the better way. But, and then again,
Maybe.
by what outcome do you measure
Yeah, but
that?
then you're going to find that one
exactly.
kid that,
Like, where is the measurement there?
It's impossible. So you can only go by what feels right in your gut.
You go with your gut. You go with your gut and your instinct, and that's what you go by. And just turns out my gut and my instinct is horribly wrong, and my wife corrects me all the time about it.
No, I mean, I think that the reason you feel like that is because that's the way you were raised, and hey, it worked out pretty well.
It did. Well, it's still up in the air.
Yeah,
we're still waiting to see if he's successful.
You're in the top 1%.
Right.
Woohoo! I'm on a podcast that's on YouTube.
1%er.
So my daughter thinks I am a rock star.
1%er.
This guy.
So what else we got on news?
I got more news.
I got a lot of what you're watching.
Yeah, me
Here's
too.
the deal. Mark Bernardin. I talk about this guy a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
He always kind of stretches my springs a little bit on his viewpoint on movies and whatnot. And on the most recent Fat Man Beyond podcast, they were talking about the Joker. And, because we were talking about the movie, we haven't seen it yet, obviously, but recent reviews have come out, a lot of critic reviews and whatnot, because they were showing it at film festivals. And it's been, like, wildly good. Like, everybody's been for this movie. Joaquin Phoenix is, like, blowing it out of the water. The only thing Mark Bernardin talked about... Have you heard... Did you listen to the podcast?
No.
Okay. The only thing Mark Bernardin said is that he's afraid that the Joker movie will incite too much violence because of the time that we're living in, and he thinks...
I can't deal with this.
He thinks it's glorifying violence and celebrating the outcast and making light of them as a group of terrorists, and together, like, it'll bring people together to, like, promote all of the violence and killing.
Has he even read a comic book with Joker in it?
You could feel...
I get what he's saying in that second part when you said, I'm sure that they make him out to be an outcast on the edge of society.
Yes, and they do.
And they band those people together and they cause mayhem. So I can see from that perspective how that is the exact same issue that we're dealing with,
right,
with these mass shooters.
In a way,
I can see that, and to give them a rallying cry.
No, I don't think that's giving a rallying cry.
But you can't live your life.
It's a movie.
Scared.
Here's the point. Here's a thing that I wanted to tie into this, though. So then I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast, and Rob Zombie was on it. I like Rob Zombie a lot.
Is that a good one? I haven't seen it. I haven't listened to it yet.
I like Rob Zombie a lot, and it is a very good podcast. They talk a lot about movies and like making movies and stuff. But anyway, on that podcast, Joe Rogan asked him if he felt like glorifying violence, like the media claims he does,
and violence against women.
Yeah, like if he feels any different because the media is saying like you glorify violence in your movies and it shouldn't be done. And Rob Zombie replied with, "The rules of real life do not and cannot apply to art." And as soon as he said that, I was like, that's exactly what needs to be said to Mark Bernardin. Like, you can't have art if you're going to try to put it in real life terms. That's not what it is. Fiction is fiction. Like, you can't have Batman in real life. It's not going to work. The Joker is not a real person. And the people in his movies aren't real people. They could be, technically, I guess. Like, sure, there's been murders before, but it's not like he's making that movie to incite like a big uprising, and you can't take the Joker like as face value, saying like, "Come on, guys, let's rise up and paint our faces."
I mean, it's been
everyone.
done before.
I'm not
That
saying
guy
it
in
hasn't,
Colorado,
but it's
it was
the same
during the
thing.
Dark Knight, right?
Yeah,
He
he
shut
came
up
in.
that movie
Yeah.
theater dressed as the Joker.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing as
Well,
like
but
saying
he-
video games make people kill people.
That's what I was going to say.
But-
It's
but
the same
he-
same thing.
He was mentally disturbed, whatever you want to call it. He had mental health issues.
Well, of course he did. Anybody that's going to do that.
Exactly. You can't, and that's the whole problem with these people who do mass shootings. They are mentally unstable. They have mental problems.
They're screwed up people.
Well, I wouldn't say screwed up. They have an issue being depression, which is real. I mean, somebody can go off deep end fast if they have a bad thing in their life. But how you choose to deal with that problem is on you. I've recently dealt with some of my own problems, but whatever. And I wasn't even an inkling to go out and do a mass shooting on any type like that.
These people are severely disturbed.
Yeah.
It goes further than
the big thing
depression
here,
or
though.
anxiety. I mean, it goes into it.
But the other point of that
mentally
is,
ill.
the news is like we talked about earlier. How you said that people, the new norm is people being outraged and that. So they throw that on the news to say, "Hey, this is bad. We got to ban guns," And so those people who are mentally disturbed see that those people are being glorified, and they think that if I do that, I maybe they'll put me up there on that pedestal too,
So-
and my name will be on the news.
And here's the thing, though: it's like, so how do you ban movies that are too violent? Do you ban video games that are too violent?
No, this
Do you
is
take
my,
away?
this is my, and this is the same
I have an
argument
easy-
with guns. I mean, it's
Well,
the same argument with everything. Is
drugs.
like-
if you ban crystal meth, guess what? People won't do it. Oh wait,
yeah, prohibition doesn't work. It never has. It never will.
It won't.
And you can't have, like Rob Zombie was saying, you can't have art if you try to make it reality. There's no such thing. Like, you can't have a movie if you only want it to be a real life scenario. Who's going to watch a movie that is fake?
First of all,
that is
the links that people try to link, they've tried over and over to link violence to video games, right?
right.
Nah.
But crime statistics overall have gone down massively over the period of time we've had video games. So they've never proven any sort of a link. There's never been any statistical
Remember when
causation.
Mortal Kombat came out? They said that was going to
Oh my
ruin our
gosh.
Should have been
generation.
said it forever. But
I've never once ripped a man's head off with his spine attached to it and said fatality.
guess what? I mean,
I froze somebody with liquid nitrogen and then punched him.
Yeah, right.
guess what? Crime statistics have gone steadily down for a long time.
Exactly.
And
Unless you
The
live in
70s
Chicago.
in the 70s,
if you live in Chicago, they just keep going up.
I
crime
don't know
and
if that's
murders
true.
were through the roof. Like, look at statistics
Well,
about murder
yeah.
from 60s and 70s, and it's like triple what it is
the
now.
point being, there's never been a time in history and a place in history that has ever been safer
Then now.
than
So-
now and here. But that is not the story, the narrative that we're told
No.
by the
it's not.
by the news.
And that's the problem. I think news, as we grew up, was when Walter Cronkite or Dan Rather or Peter Jennings came on, what they said, I remember sitting at the kitchen table at 6 o'clock, whatever time we were eating dinner, the news was on, we watched it, and by God, that's what happened, and that was the truth. And now nobody watches the news because nobody fucking believes
It's
the word that
not.
comes out of it. Like, I mean,
Well,
the
people
local,
watch it.
well,
I mean, people watch it.
the local Channel 7 news, what happened in Chicago, what happened in Joliet, what happened, blah, 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 blah. I think people watch that, but do you really tune in to Fox or CNN or whatever news outlet you watch? Do you really believe it?
That's not news.
Exactly.
And I'm not sure what percentage of the population is tuning into that thinking that it is news.
Watch
but I bet
the-
you most of them
is
are.
it-
A lot-
it-
I bet you a lot of people do think it
I don't
is.
know that they think that's news or they just think it's entertainment.
What's the show on HBO? Newsroom?
There was a show.
There
called
was
Newsroom
one, yeah.
And they hit
with
a
Jeff
lot.
Bridges.
Jeff Bridges. That is a great show. I recommend watching that. It opened your eyes about how the media has changed in the last
Oh, yeah.
10
Jeff
years.
Bridges, that was
No, it wasn't Jeff,
Jeff Daniels?
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I recommend it. It's 2 seasons
It's
long.
a Aaron Sorkin show. I think.
Yeah, really
Is
good.
it?
Hey, speaking of the Joker,
Okay.
what's your guys' thoughts? Is it going to? So anytime a critic says a movie is good, I generally don't like it. But
I'm not in that camp. Usually,
No.
I tend to agree
'cause
more with
what-
the critics than
well,
not.
what I have researched is that it's not what we would consider a Joker movie.
No, I never expected it to be.
No, I mean, I think they are playing off of some of it. Like, he's the tormented comedian that was in The Killing Joke, but it's its own thing.
I think it's definitely going to be more of a personal movie, like a character driven movie.
It is because it's all about him, and that's what Mark Bernardin was saying in his explanation, is that since it's making him the hero.
Yeah.
It's making him look like the hero. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just a viewpoint of a man that slowly goes insane because of the world around him.
Right.
Which is what...
And I understand people could take that as their reality. Like that's what they're living in too. But I just think it's really wild to say that.
I think we need to separate these two thoughts. So we need to take that and let it exist. And then we need to step back and say, okay, if this is happening, this violence is happening, rarely, but still happening, then we all need to sit back and say, like, okay, what do we need to do? What do the parents need to do? What do the teachers need to do to be able to be unburdened by regulation to go, something's wrong with that kid?
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, something's wrong with that kid.
Why can't we say that?
They can't do that. You can't. And that's probably
they're saying that the Joker is a lot like Taxi Driver. It's like a very similar film.
Yeah. That would be cool.
To Taxi Driver.
That makes me excited.
Taxi Driver was a very violent film.
Taxi Driver was also very controversial when it came out. Yeah. I believe for the same reasons.
Really?
And now you go back and watch
it as it wasn't. I mean,
I think in retrospect, it's become more of a cinematic classic. But I think at the time, I think it was pretty controversial
because it was so violent.
The movie's still out.
Yeah,
the movie, you could watch it at any point in time that you want.
Yeah.
Is that inciting violence?
Nope.
No.
I mean
sure, things incite violence in
House of a Thousand
individuals, but let's try to address it from how can we address the effed up individual?
Yes, I
not
agree.
the thing that's gonna happen. They're gonna find it in anything.
So when
they'll find it in that movie, they'll find it in something else. They'll find it in something else.
Here's the thing. It has to be a cultural thing. It has to be, everybody has to be able to say, Jerry, comes back from, or a veteran comes back from the Gulf and they have an issue. Culturally wise, your friends, your family have to say, hey, this guy has an issue.
Yeah.
But the reason we can't do that is because we've built slowly over time a stigma of mental health in this country.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we don't have any resources available to help anybody. It's a joke. This country is a joke as far as mental health resources. There should be every town, every county should have ample centers and resources for people to go get this kind of help.
I agree.
Freely and availably.
But that's the stigmata you go to. There is a Grundy County mental health area.
But that's nothing.
It's got a pretty good budget, but the problem is nobody goes there to get help.
Yeah.
When you are mentally down, if you have depression or if you have post-traumatic stress syndrome, you don't know you have it. You just think you're pissed off at the world.
Yeah.
And until somebody helps you...
It's difficult because it's hard to give those people help because they're hard to help.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So when I was listening to this, because I only listen to that podcast, I don't watch the YouTube video. They have a YouTube video of it. When Mark was talking about this stuff, you could feel not necessarily tension, but the awkwardness between the two because Kevin Smith did not feel the same way. Like he's thinking of it as a comic book type movie.
Yeah.
And like the Joker as a character he's always seen on the screen, like you would assume he would.
Well, Mark's the ultimate
And he was just like, he's like, holy shit, man. Like, I just wanted to hear good reviews about the Joker.
Yeah,
like you could tell they were on completely different sides, and it was awkward to listen to because Kevin was like trying to be nice about it, but what he really wanted to say was like, shut up. Like you could easily tell he was not on board with that whatsoever. But it is what it is. I wanted to bring it up because it's ridiculous. I think
I really hope it's
ridiculous.
a good movie. I hope DC does something right. Even
I'm
if it's
super excited for it. I want it to be dark and gloomy and evil and see a man get like just go insane. I think it's going to be so awesome.
Well, because I think me and you are about the two biggest Batman fans that I know.
That probably exist.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but we're pretty big. But I am praying that they do this right. I mean,
Yeah, and it's completely standalone on its own. But
speaking of Joker,
maybe it won't be.
Did you hear who they might cast in the new The Batman movie?
No.
Not so much Batman. We all know it's going to be the guy from
Robert Pattinson.
Is that for sure?
Yes,
that is
100% Robert Pattinson.
Which I think, if you look at, and we talked about this last time I was on, and you guys have talked about it since then. He's got some pretty good films out there. I'm excited for it. I hope.
I'm not against him.
Rihanna.
By any means.
Rihanna
No,
Rihanna as Catwoman.
as Poison Ivy.
not a fan.
I think
just,
that's doable. That's doable.
Singers as actors.
Well, she was
don't
in space flick that didn't take off. It was French.
Oh yes, I know.
The Planet of 1,000, City of 1,000 Planets.
Never heard of it.
I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, she was in that. She was good in it.
Battleship too.
Yeah.
That was also
Yeah.
a phenomenal movie. That
Ooh.
I
really
think Ja
took off.
Rule was in that too.
Ja Rule's not in that movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
He's
Is
not.
he?
He's not.
Ja Rule.
One of those J
Maybe
rappers.
DMX.
There are
No.
3 computers in front of us. I know. I'll guarantee
It's not
you
even
say
worth
that.
looking up.
So anyway, and Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz.
Okay, I like her.
Zoe who? Oh, Kravitz.
Kravitz, Lenny
Oh,
Kravitz's
okay.
daughter.
daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think those
So,
are doable.
The talk is, and this was also from Fat Man on Batman, and they both had very credible sources, and Kevin was pretty uncomfortable about Mark spilling the beans, and he's like, I don't know if we're supposed to be talking about this or not, but they put it out there.
I don't work for him.
And they said that it's the Batman's storyline is supposed to be the Long Halloween.
Oh, no kidding. I've not heard that.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the best, guys. And if you want to go read something great, go get The Long Halloween.
Right, absolutely.
That's Jeff Loeb, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
And,
that's on my. We'll talk about what we're watching and reading.
But I think they're making The Long Halloween an animated movie, too.
I think they
After
are.
they
I thought
did
they already
Hush.
did.
They have to be. Hush.
I think it's in production.
We can talk
maybe.
about Hush because I watched it and it's,
Jerry probably hasn't.
I did.
You did watch it?
I did.
Well, let's talk
Oh,
about it
a
here.
long time ago.
Well,
Yeah.
so while we're on talk about
Well,
casting,
I
and,
got one
and-
more thing I wanted to talk about for news-wise.
So do I. I have a couple.
Oh, okay, go for it.
So while we're on the subject of characters that aren't originally their own, I'm gonna say race in movies, did you hear who they are going to recast as Magneto in the upcoming X-Men?
This was not. It's not confirmed.
No, I
It's
haven't
by
heard
no
any of
means
this.
confirmed.
Offering by Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios hinted at it.
Hinted, not confirmed. Who was it again? But
Denzel
Washington
as Magneto.
Yeah.
I like Denzel.
I love Denzel. I mean, I read the comments both ways. I understand both sides.
I think that would be a great idea if you did an older Magneto. I mean, he would be...
Personally, I think he would be a great Magneto. However, the biggest part of Magneto is his Jewish Holocaust.
Yeah, you had to
heritage.
go there. Got to bring in the whole...
No, that's-
I mean, that's the story.
That's the story.
That's
So-
the
I know.
character background.
I had heard that maybe, and okay, I get that it's hard to do that nowadays because if you're doing a current Magneto and you're talking about somebody who lived through the Holocaust, they'd be like 90 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
So they talked about redoing it as Denzel Washington and his struggles as a child in the civil rights movement in America.
Yeah, they
I
could.
just don't think it has the same a weight. First of all, I always appreciated that aspect of that character. But I get, whatever. There's plenty of things that Denzel Washington could do, by the way. It doesn't need to
Oh
be
my gosh,
Magneto.
it could
You know
be
what I mean?
so
Like
many different things.
Like put him in some other role. You know
He
what I
can
mean?
do anything. I love that man. He's really good.
Or make up a new role. He'd be a great, Magneto, for sure. You know what? I'll take it. You know why? Because I got 50 years of Jewish Holocaust Magneto that I can read or watch anytime that I want.
There you go.
Yeah, you can.
Yep.
I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I mean, I
That's
think he'd be... I wanted your guys' opinion. I thought he'd be a good Magneto.
I think so. I think you could do basically anything you put him in. But that's a good point. Like, don't rag on the new stuff. I try not to. I do get in a headspace of like wanting to say that, I don't agree with casting or I don't agree with certain directions. But you always have the old comic books or the other movies that were made that you enjoy. Like, those will always be there. Why worry about what the new one's going to be? Like, just take it as what it is.
Well,
and try to enjoy it.
And Denzel Washington can take any character and elevate it to a new level.
Yeah.
So, and you're talking about following up on Ian McKellen,
Right, exactly.
who is in the same boat of, you know,
Sir Ian McKellen.
and following up on Michael Fassbender, who I think has done an excellent job.
I like
Oh,
him a
yeah.
I just
lot.
bought
Yeah.
X-Men Dark Phoenix. I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched that yet
Hey,
either.
me neither.
But I bought it and I haven't watched
God,
it.
that guy, it's going to be so bad. It's
Oh,
gonna be
we
bad.
got
It is
so
terrible.
much to do, guys. We need
Yeah.
to keep,
Well,
keep on
Okay, I
track
only
here.
have one more news story. What do you got?
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay,
Oh.
just one more like little heartfelt thing that I thought was nice. I think it's a cool thing. I don't know why they've never done it before. BMC Toys. Do you know who they are?
No.
No.
So they make those little green army men.
Yep.
Yeah.
A 6-year-old girl from Arkansas had written to BMC Toys headquarters just asking why she didn't see any girls in these little green army men.
I'm sure she wasn't prompted by her parents to do that at all.
I don't know. And it was a handwritten letter from her. And so now they're starting to make
Good, they should.
little green army gals.
And dresses.
No,
No,
they're in
they
uniform.
shouldn't. No.
Which I think is
I'm joking.
I know, no.
They totally should do that.
sexist.
But they're little green. I mean, can you really tell a gender?
You can. They showed a little thing of them, and you can tell it's a woman.
You can tell he has a cock.
How?
and shit.
But,
Yeah.
How?
because they've got like more
They're
hair.
loose-fitting fatigues.
Wait a minute. You
Well,
in the
we
military?
don't need to look at their bodies.
Time
Chris.
out.
It's their face.
You were in the army. Did,
Yes.
did any women have long hair while you were there?
Yeah, they can have long hair.
Oh.
They just bunch it up. It can't touch their collar. As long as it doesn't touch their collar, it could be as long as you want, and your Kevlar and hat fit. So they all do.
I mean, fine, but I just feel like those weren't.
I'm all for it, by
gender-specific
the way.
to begin with, but
Well, they all
the
look
little
like
green faceless army men.
They all have faces.
Pick your hills and what you want
You
to die
don't
on,
remember.
Chris.
Apparently, you don't remember Green Army guys.
Yeah.
I
Who
just
cares?
don't know how you can make one look more or less like a woman.
Look up the picture of them, and you'll be able to tell.
well,
It's
fine.
a
I mean,
woman.
there's obviously female soldiers, so there should be female army men.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
there should be.
Yes.
I agree. I think it's kind of neat, but they're redoing the
Yeah.
whole line, so they're starting to put out.
I think we should have only women in the military.
Sure.
It was men for so long.
Yeah, I agree.
Like if
So
we're
only
gonna do the equality thing where we just
You're
flip
going-
everything to the opposite extreme.
You're going out on a limb that
No,
I'm
I'm
not
just
following
saying,
you
if we're
on.
gonna flip everything to the opposite extreme, it should be an all women military.
All trans.
I think it should be like the Iraqi military, where as soon as you graduate high
No
school,
opinion on
no
that?
matter what race, creed, whatever you are, you spend 2 years in the military.
I agree, unless you're rich
I-
enough to pay out your way out.
Nope.
I agree with that.
Anybody. I mean, there are so many things that we
I
can
don't
set
think
up
you need to
military
spend your time
contract.
in the military. I think as long as I agree with mandatory public service.
No,
but I just
no,
don't feel like it needs to be military service.
Israelis do it.
Military.
Most countries do it. Germany does it. Almost all countries do it. But I don't think it needs to specifically be
Nope.
military. What about?
Nope.
There's plenty of other things. Peace
I know.
Corps.
I know quite a few guys that went in the military,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they turned out pretty good.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, why does it have to be military? Why can't they go do any charitable work?
That's not fair.
Well, it should be your choice. You should have a list of things you can choose from.
Well, then I'm going to be the guy that goes and does some screw ass thing and not have to go get shot at. The whole point of it is you are trained to be in the military and you learn a certain skill set that when you get out of the military, you are able to get a job and not start at McDonald's.
Well,
and then
let me be clear. I'm 100% against that idea. I just want to be clear on that. I might have said earlier that I agree.
You
I
did.
totally
Yeah.
disagree with
you
mandatory
did
military
absolutely
service.
Say that.
why?
Yeah. Well, I just don't feel like mandatory anything has any place in a free country. I don't think you should be forcing.
Germany's free. Canada's free.
Not as free as us.
No, they're
I
Not
think
as
you're
free
wrong.
as us. There's no other country, or very few, that are as free as the United States.
has a constitution
UK
that
has
says
free.
Jesus.
Japan is free. They have a constitution.
Not the same as ours.
Then again, Japan doesn't have a military.
And that doesn't mean they're right. I'm saying I don't agree with mandating adults to do something, to serve in the military, to do anything. I think you should let people do whatever they want to do.
Well, then why do you pay taxes?
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, it does. They mandate you pay taxes. You should be able to free and do what you want. Why do you pay taxes?
Well,
You just said you should be able to do what you want.
I don't agree with paying taxes. First off.
Got him.
That's not getting me. I don't. But, I mean, at a certain point, you live in a society, you have to pay taxes towards something. If you want to live in a successful society, you're going to have to pay taxes to have certain essentials such as infrastructure, military protection, blah blah blah, these types of things, that's fine. But that's not the same thing as mandating and forcing people to join the military.
There's a
I
difference in joining the military and being trained as a soldier and what we should do. I mean, if we did a mandatory military service for everybody in this country, it would be more than just here's a gun or a rifle.
I do believe that it would change perspectives.
What's wrong with it being voluntary the way it is? I just don't understand why you need to force people to do things.
I don't have anything with the. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the military itself. The people we have now, God bless any veteran or anybody that goes into the service now. I'm saying as a culture wise, it would give people a skill set after 2 years to get out of bed on time, get to work, have a work ethic. I'm not saying you have to train everybody as a rifleman. There is plenty of skill sets that the military or the government.
I get what you're saying.
Which is going down the rabbit hole. Is it part socialism? Is it all that?
I mean,
shit?
it's forcing people to do things. I believe in individual rights. I believe in,
and I agree with that
the
too.
rights of the individual to freely pursue their passion and not be forced into anything.
You're right.
I kind of agree with you, to be completely honest. I think it's a good thing. I think it would be a positive thing for everybody to go through it, just to learn. I think there would be a lot more like respectful people in the world, honestly. Like just because you have a perspective that isn't as privileged.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'm not, by no means am I against military service. I do think there's positives to it.
That's what I think people could gain from that is like. I think you would realize how privileged you are, and therefore it would make you a better person in that way. But forcing someone to do it,
it's just not going to work.
No, not anymore. Not now. It won't work.
There'd
be like a freaking uproar.
I'm going to back up on it. I agree with it, but I know in my heart that it would never work because we have too big of a population. Now, if you're Israel, which is a tiny little. Is it the same size as Illinois? It's roughly about the same size.
No idea.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
It's right about the same. It's small. If you have that size as a country, guess what? You need to have everybody do it. That's why they do it. Would it work for us? No.
Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, however you say her name. She turned into Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So
could really change your life.
That's my 2 cents.
Okay, we got several things to do here.
Yes.
We have to do our Snarf Talk homework.
Oh, yeah.
Should we do that now?
Yep.
If that's what you'd like to do.
I also got a bunch of what we're watching, and I had a little bit of a topic that I wanted to touch on and get everybody's opinion on. So,
okay.
Let's start with that. Let's start with the topic because it kind of hints at what Dude was just talking about, not with the military before that.
Okay.
What I wanted to touch on today was remakes.
Okay.
And the reason that's got brought up to me because there's been a bit of an uproar going on the internet, the interwebs right now.
Oh, yes.
All of the interwebs?
Yes, because there was talk of a reboot or a remake of The Princess Bride.
Yes.
The classic movie from the 80s?
Yes.
One of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
I mean,
poor Andre the Giant.
We met him. Saw that guy.
We saw, we did. We
Carrie,
saw Carrie.
We still don't know how to say his last name.
The blonde guy from Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Yep.
So, the uproar was, no, don't remake this movie. Don't reboot this movie. The movie was perfect. To reboot it is a slap in the face. That was the internet's general take.
I would agree with that 100%.
Kind of what we were just talking about on the Magneto front of recasting roles. It's kind of a similar thing. So we're in a reboot world right now.
We 100% are.
Okay. Rebooting the X-Men, which is by no means they haven't gotten it right since. That's different.
I don't know that I agree with that, but also comics has a long history. Any comic-based property has a long history of rebooting.
Man, that'd
That's
be like
what comics do.
That'd be like rebooting Forrest Gump.
Well, I mean,
how could you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, or HUD, or any classic movie from the 50s, 60s, or 70s. I mean, like Butch and the Sundance Kid. How can you reboot that? With Robert Redford and Paul Newman. You can't.
You can do it because of money. They want to make more money.
They want to reboot these movies because they have a built-in audience, and people want to go see them. So this got me thinking more about one of my what we're watching this week, which we won't talk about yet, but I watched Aladdin. So
I've seen
So
it.
Disney is on a huge reboot kick
Yeah.
right now, where they're remaking all their animated classics as live action films. This has gotten a lot of hate.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before on this.
So how do you
Podcast.
guys feel about reboots?
I don't personally think we need most of them. Have I been excited for some of them? Yes, I have. Do I watch most of them? Yes, I do. But again, I don't ever feel like we need them at all.
Yeah.
I've always been the person that was like, why are they doing that? Not because I feel like it's going to ruin the previous movie. It can't ever ruin the previous movie. Like, unless you make a direct sequel saying that, like it's in line with the other movie and you're saying this is where the characters went after that, that could kind of tarnish a franchise. But
Kind of like Superman Returns.
well, I mean, a lot of them like that. Yeah, a lot of superhero movies have had that issue where you're trying to continue the storyline and do it with different people, and it just doesn't work, and it is kind of tarnishing what it was before. But I don't know. With Princess Bride, you put new people in it and do the exact same movie.
There's a whole
change
lot of
couple
people that
things.
have never seen Princess Bride and never will.
Yeah,
There's
I
a
don't
whole
know.
generation of kids that is never going to see it.
I don't
Well,
care.
and
I don't
there's
care
a
if
whole-
they
Grew
make
up with
it.
it.
Well, is there? Have you guys ever seen HUD with Paul Newman?
No.
No,
You ever seen Giant?
No.
no.
So there's a lot of movies you guys haven't seen that
Yeah.
classics that I would recommend watching. But to redo a classic just for money, that is just
That's what it
fucking,
is, though.
it's tacky.
It's like it's fast money for all of these companies, these movie companies, because like you said, it's like a built-in fan base. A lot of people know about it, and then to a lot of people, they'll be like, "Oh, Princess Bride, we should go see that,"
Yeah.
and then they'll just
A lot
go
of
see
people
it.
are arguing just do a theatrical re-release of the original movie,
They have,
but
with,
a worldwide
with
one.
like a Fathom Events thing. you
Yeah,
know?
but that doesn't. I mean, like a real.
yeah,
Bring it back, maybe remaster it, whatever. Here's my thought on the situation. I'm 100% pro remakes and reboots because
No.
one simple fact: the originals didn't go away. It's still there.
certain
You can
certain
still go back and watch that whenever you want.
certain properties. Like I'm going to use Batman because Jerry can back me on this. Multiple people have said Batman needs to be recreated and redone because the technology to make movies gets better every so many years, and with Batman the technology has to be written because he's so technology advanced in the comic book that so you go back to the '89 Batman, it is fucking corny, but I love it. I mean, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And then you start going to how much the technology grows, and they remake and they remake and they remake and remake, and now we're looking at another remake of Batman again.
But again,
So-
the comic book universe is so used to this. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a novel concept compared to like the Princess Bride or the Disney movies, for example.
Well, let's talk about Aladdin.
well, the
Have you seen it
difference-
yet, Jerry?
We can talk about Aladdin
I
because that
haven't
was
seen
one of the
it,
big.
but I don't care
there was
if you talk about it.
two of these new Disney movies that I watched this week. Aladdin was when I watched it last night.
I watched it.
I thought it was phenomenal.
I enjoyed it. All the songs that are in it from our childhood one, which I loved.
I heard except for one.
There was a couple that
there's
were
two
missing,
new
but
ones which really play up on the princess
That was
strong woman, which I'm for that. My daughter loved it, which as long as she understands that
They threw a new storyline
Yeah.
into the whole proposition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of women's rights, essentially.
Which is
her not feeling that it's right that a woman cannot be sultan.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but that was a huge plot point to the movie.
yeah,
and it was
it's very good. I thought it was.
it would be fine if it didn't feel forced. It did feel a little forced,
Yes, it did.
Pandering.
but whatever. Ignore that. Overall, I actually thought I enjoyed it more than the animated movie.
I did not because
Robin Williams.
Will Smith is not Robin Williams.
I'm going to tell you what. I thought Will Smith was fantastic.
He was fantastic,
Really?
but he's not Robin Williams.
And you know what?
He's not.
He didn't need to be, and I'll tell you why. He did a lot of little things that Robin Williams did. He paid homage to Robin Williams in a lot of ways.
Yes, he did.
And just how he pronounced certain words
Yep.
in the songs, he did it as a direct homage to Robin Williams,
Oh.
which I thought was cool.
That's
but he
nice.
changed it up enough in his own kind of Will Smith rappy way
Yeah.
that it made it original, and you were totally fine with it.
I love
That's
the
good.
movie, and I agree with you 100%.
Also,
everything you just
acting-wise,
said.
I think he did a fantastic job.
He's a great
think he
actor.
really,
He's
really,
a great
he
actor.
really
Yeah.
stood out in this movie, and I thought he was fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah, it was good.
And overall,
that's good. That makes me want to watch it.
Yeah.
I haven't really wanted to watch it just because it was one of those things where I was like, why do I need an Aladdin? I don't need an Aladdin.
Well, I'll tell you what.
So,
before I watch
as soon
this,
as you hear Arabian Nights in the original, when they start off singing Arabian Nights,
yeah,
it's a little different in the beginning.
all the
but
songs are a little different.
You hear that song, and it immediately it took me and my wife back to our childhood. I mean, it was like
This is not
that.
a direct interpretation of the
It's
animated. It's pretty close.
pretty damn close.
because they're like politically correct.
No, well, there's even. Look, I can't think. Maybe there's not too many politically wrong things in the movie.
Yeah, I think they could have maybe cast a little more Middle Eastern actors.
Probably.
I mean, Jasmine's white.
Maybe Italian.
Oh, really?
Or
I guess
maybe
I didn't know
she's
that.
part Indian. I don't know.
Probably Italian.
They do kind of
Let's
blur
look
the
it up.
They do blur the lines between Indian and Middle East, but so did the original.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Well, you notice the Sultan, when his not turban.
It's in its own
cap,
world.
His cap is removed. He has a white cap on, which is
I didn't notice that.
the sign that he is a Muslim.
Well, I don't know. It exists kind of in its own world, but I will say I watched the original not that long before this, and it's a quick movie, man.
It's
a
very
tight,
fast.
tight movie. That's maybe why it's so good.
The last time I watched it, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, man, this went by fast.
Yeah, and the live action does that, but I think it expands on certain parts of the movie in a way that was almost necessary. Almost watching back the cartoon, I thought they rushed it a little too much, almost to a certain extent. I just thought it was great, and I think that Aladdin itself lends itself more to live action than, like for example, The Lion King.
So
Yeah.
Which I think
Princess,
The Lion King was better in animation than the live action, whereas I thought Aladdin really was better in live action than the animated. And
Wow.
I have not seen The Lion King. Is it worth watching?
No.
Apparently
No.
Okay. So back up, Princess Jasmine.
she's British.
Yeah, she's British.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I think she's of maybe Indian descent. But
I'm looking here.
I like the cameo though of her handmaid was Nassim Pedran or whatever from
Oh yeah,
from SNL.
SNL.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in a long time.
Yeah.
She kind of dropped off the face of
And
the.
she's really good.
Yeah.
She's really good in it. And Will Smith is really good in it. And the guy who plays Aladdin is pretty good. The girl who plays Jasmine's fantastic. The big number in that one is the Magic Carpet Ride song.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
The effects are really good, but I really think the standout, what made this is Will Smith being fantastic and homaging to Robin Williams, but not copying and doing everything in his own way. I thought it was really odd at first, but then I kind of got aboard with it that they brought back the Will Smith original rap song for the credits.
Oh, they did?
Just like they did in Men in Black and Wild Wild
Oh,
West.
yeah, they did, didn't
They
they?
had an original
forgot
Will
about that.
Smith with
Nice.
DJ Khaled
No kidding?
in the credits for Aladdin.
There's
Wow.
one thing.
Weird.
There's one thing I would have done different, and
What's
that
that?
is made Jafar not fucking so good looking. I would have made him ugly. I would have made him a lot meaner.
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of like this handsome looking guy that had a staff.
He
and-
was definitely more menacing in the cartoon
Yeah.
than he was in the movie
Right.
as the main villain.
Yeah.
Um,
I would have made him a lot meaner.
the stakes never felt as high as they did in the cartoon.
Yep.
But overall, I thought it was great. It's definitely, I would say, a very welcome addition. And the reason I brought that up is because it was a remake. And, I know that people are really against these Disney remakes, but there hasn't really been any of that. I mean, Beauty and the Beast was pretty good. Another
thought
one
it
that I
was okay.
watched recently
enjoyed
was
it.
Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton one.
I like that
So
movie.
trippy.
I thought it was great.
I like
God,
that movie a lot.
I wanted.
And
I
the
wanted.
kids loved it, and it was exciting.
I just
And-
wanted to get a big bag of shrooms and just sit there and watch that
Yeah,
movie.
seriously.
Man.
Holy
It
smokes.
was so awesome.
But I will say about that though, it wasn't really a remake because it was like a sequel.
Is that what it was?
I think it was more of a sequel.
It was a sequel because she's supposed to.
She
well,
had been there
She'd
in
already been
Wonderland
there
when she
before.
was a child,
And
and I
she-
think that was meant to be the
Yeah.
original
Okay.
movie, the animated movie.
You are correct on
and
that.
this is more of a sequel.
I think Johnny Depp is phenomenal.
I
in
think
it.
he's great, and I love how they expanded the universe and made it feel like Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe
Yes.
kind of.
Oh,
Yes.
it is like that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's a good
but
movie.
trippier. And Tim Burton was on point, and
He's so out of his fucking mind.
Yeah, and
I love
in a
his
good way.
movies.
Yeah.
So anyway, what else are you watching, Chris?
If we want to go into that before we do our Snarf Talk stuff, or our homework, I guess. I get a bunch, okay? So I'll try and be quick about it. First one I watched was the second Fantastic Beasts movie.
I watched it as well.
Fantastic Beasts. What's it called? Crimes of Grindelwald. Speaking of Johnny Depp. He's
Grindelwald.
It's awesome.
Is it?
I really, really enjoyed it.
Awesome's not the word I would use.
You didn't like it, huh?
I am a huge Harry Potter fan. You know who else is a huge Harry Potter?
Me. I'm a huge fan.
Dan K.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Huge.
That I didn't know that.
Yep.
I am not.
Yeah, well
I enjoyed it. I don't think it was. I was hoping for more, but I was.
Yeah, I felt the exact opposite. I was on the fence with the first one. I thought the first one was mediocre.
I thought the first one was better.
And I thought this one blew that one out of the water. It definitely felt to me like a movie in the Harry Potter universe, whereas the first one didn't at all. This one felt like it with Dumbledore in there. Yeah. And Michael Fassbender was great as that. They have a great dynamic. Fassbender. Or no, Jude Law. Sorry.
Yeah.
They have a great dynamic between Grindelwald, Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And
because they're.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're.
I'm not going to spoilers.
Yep. Hey.
I haven't ever seen it.
Fantastic interplay there, and the politics kind of the Ministry of Magic, and just a lot more exciting movie in general.
I agree with you on all those points.
And the special effects are out of this world. I don't know how well these movies are doing, but I hope they don't stop making them.
The one beast.
I'm afraid they're not doing very well.
The one Chinese beast that he rescues.
Very cool.
That just the animation on that, the CGI on that is
the CGI on this movie is out of this world.
It's really good. I mean,
and it's very exciting. I felt like it was a quick movie, and it really
got some twists and turns.
Very much so. The first one, I'm such a huge Harry Potter fan. The first one just felt like it wasn't not in the universe, and this one really brought it back.
Well, I think the first one was meant not to be in the universe because they wanted to set it aside.
Yeah,
it's not Harry Potter. It's pre-Harry Potter. It's pretty much a prequel. It is a direct prequel. It has to do everything about the wand, the Elder Wand. Yeah. So, but anyway, Harry Potter dork.
Loved it. Highly recommend.
Yep.
Another big one that I watched is Bohemian Rhapsody.
I need to see that.
Has anybody seen this yet?
I have not. I mean, I like Queen.
So here's my thoughts going into this. I've been putting this off for a while to watch it because it got rave reviews. Obviously, I think the Oscars were won. Fantastic.
I don't think it's out that long, has it?
It's been out.
Or did he get
6 months?
Or wait, did he get a?
I believe
actor?
He got an Oscar.
Let's find out.
I don't know.
So anyway, I'm a fan of Queen.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Freddie Mercury.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of very highly reviewed movies that win Oscars.
Yes.
That being said, I think that it was wildly overrated.
Really?
As a movie.
I've only heard really good things about it, even from people that have seen it.
It was fine. It was fine. It was a good look into Queen, I guess. I think what it did that I kind of took some issue. After a while, you kind of take some issue to it. It's like putting Queen as a band and Freddie Mercury as an artist on a level well above where I think they need to be in the pantheon of...
Who was the actor Simon Cowell? He did a bunch of... Give me a minute, I don't think of his name. But he was originally the director of this movie, and it was supposed to be on the lifestyle of Freddie Mercury.
Sacha Baron Cohen was supposed to be the original.
Yes.
Wasn't the director, but he was going to play Freddie Mercury.
And he wanted to go... Because if you really look at Freddie Mercury's lifestyle, I mean...
Party.
Well, and him being... At the time, he could not be himself because it was looked down upon if you're gay. Just how the time were.
I thought they did well with that aspect of the movie. That's one that I think they nailed. And they did nail that aspect of his personal life.
His fight.
His struggle, and how he was in a time where it was... He couldn't be who he wanted to be, but also he didn't accept himself. That's the interesting part about it.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't want to be the way he was because of society. At least that's the way they portrayed it in the movie.
Yeah.
And he struggled with his own identity. And that that was interesting. I'm not going to say it's not interesting. I'm just saying I think that maybe it elevated Queen to a level, they were a pop band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think it's elevating Queen necessarily more than it's elevating Freddie Mercury.
Both. And I think
because it was a Freddie Mercury movie. It was not a Queen movie.
Pretty much, yes. It was a Freddie Mercury movie. And yes, okay, he is an amazing singer. And
he's one of the greatest voices of all time.
That I agree with you.
Okay, yes. But, I mean, they had a lot of by-the-numbers pop stuff.
Sure.
They had some big, yes,
Huge
they were an interesting band insofar as they took risks, right?
I mean, at the time though, they were enormous.
No
Huge.
doubt about that.
Yeah.
And they played Live Aid. I mean, that was the largest concert of
I
all
just
time.
don't necessarily, they're making Queen out to be on like the level of like the Rolling Stones or
No.
Led Zeppelin.
no.
But at the
And they're
time,
not.
they were.
Well,
I don't think they ever were at that level.
well, maybe
I
not
think
in the
they
United
were.
States, but worldwide, you got to remember, there's a whole nother continent that takes precedence over some of the music.
You know what I like about that movie that they did portray is Freddie Mercury didn't write all of those songs and most of those songs.
No, he didn't.
The band members all wrote songs. They all
Yeah.
wrote their own songs. A lot of the best songs weren't written by Freddie Mercury. They were written by other members of that band.
What's the name of the guitarist? Because he wrote a lot of my thoughts.
No, I don't think.
I can't remember his name either.
I don't
You
think
just
they,
saw You just saw the movie.
Yeah, I can't remember because he's not like a main focus of the movie. They're definitely a main focus in the movie as far as that. That was one cool thing about Queen. They were a unit, man. They were a family.
Yep.
They were not the best musicians. Freddie Mercury was the standout talent. They're not necessarily on the level of musicians that were in a band of that level, but they wrote those songs. They took a lot of risks. They did a lot of cool things. I just think overall the movie was just okay. It was fine. I think it got a little overblown, and I think they overblew necessarily the cultural significance of Queen and
I don't think so.
the standing of that.
I don't
It's
think
an interesting story, though.
Queen's always went down as one of the biggest bands of all time.
I agree with
that's like
I agree with
wildly
Jerry.
known.
I just don't
You
agree.
might not personally think they are,
Yeah,
but I think
he's right.
music industry as a whole does,
Okay.
and their record sales. Probably
It's kind of like
prove that as
Oasis.
well.
I think
It is.
Oasis is an awesome band, but
It is one. Queen, I will say, is one of the rare exceptions for bands from the 70s and 80s that have stood the test of time where you still hear their music frequently.
Right, Brian May. That's their guitarist.
Yes, it is. And he's a good guitarist. Don't get me wrong. Very good guitarist. But anyway, so,
What else you got?
see it, don't see it. I don't think you're missing out anything too.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. It wasn't anything that jumped out at me. It
I think
should have been.
Rami Malek did do a great job. He sang a lot of the songs himself.
That's pretty incredible.
And he acted it really well. He probably deserved that Oscar. He worked his ass off on that movie. And you can tell it was an interesting story. They didn't delve too much into, his...
sexual exploits.
They did for sure,
Crazy.
but they kind of I don't know. You'll have to see it, but they don't hang too much on the AIDS thing. They definitely set it up as kind of like the backdrop of the era.
Yeah.
They probably could have gone a little more in depth into that aspect of it, but nonetheless, I thought it was interesting. One other thing that I've been watching currently, I just finished up season 2 of American Gods.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Oh.
this is based off
Okay.
the probably one of my top 5 favorite books of all times.
Yeah.
American Gods by
I love it.
Neil Gaiman. They started this on Stars. It's actually an Amazon produced show.
Now it is. Right? It's all on Amazon,
I think it's
right?
no, it's only on Stars in the United States, but in the rest of the world, it is on Amazon. I think it is an Amazon show. You can tell because Amazon has a certain standard of production,
Yes.
which is very high.
It's up there.
This is a beautiful, beautiful show, and this is a horribly boring season 2.
Oh, no.
Very disappointing. The story
sucks.
does not move at all. It's just budged right into place, just in this annoying little space of
Really? Didn't go anywhere.
trippy nothingness happening. Season 1 I thought was great. Season 2 was a big miss. Hopefully they can bring it back in season 3. I'm not going to delve too deep into it. You guys can watch it and we'll talk about it in more It's worth watching. I think
I didn't see all of season 1.
it was.
Same here.
It
I
frankly
haven't
was
seen
tough for me to get through season 2. They had some great moments, and there's in my mind the standout character is Mad Sweeney, who is essentially the leprechaun.
Yeah.
But what you find out in season 2 is there's a little more to that story, and there's some good stuff there. But overall, it's horrendously boring. They really cannot. They're not moving the story along.
That sucks.
You not turning me on to watching this show at all, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean,
I don't need to
read
watch
the
it.
book.
Yeah, it's like
Read the book.
I read the book. I love the book. I don't need to see a show about it because I
I
mean,
wanted
even
this
season
show more
1,
than anything in the world, but
even season 1, you weren't really raving about after it was on. So
yeah,
I didn't.
I liked
need it.
season 1. Season 2, I mean, they just spent so much time doing just innocuous things that are horribly uninteresting, and so I'm not high on that right now. That's it for me for what I've been watching. Anything you guys have been watching?
I have watched
there you go.
a couple things before we get into just 2 things really that I wanted to talk about. One was I finished Carnival Row
Oh yeah.
that you had told me about. Did you hear
I
about this?
just started the first 15
I
minutes
feel
of
like
it.
this could be like a half an hour discussion.
Well,
I'm not going to
wait.
talk in
'Cause I
depth
spent
about
15
it.
minutes. My daughter interrupted me watching. I'm like, I need
She
to.
cannot watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
No
That's
way.
why I'm like, nope.
She cannot watch it, but it blew me away. Like it's
I told you, came out of nowhere.
It is, yeah, it did come out of nowhere. I think the story is phenomenal, and where that show can go now
Out of this
is
world.
it's like unending. It could be an unending show. It could have as many seasons as it wants, and I'm really, really intrigued to see where it goes. I like how they tied
American
everything
Gods
together,
needs to
and
take a learn.
That's on Amazon. Amazon as
Amazon.
well.
Yeah. American
That's what-
Gods needs to watch Carnival Row, the showrunner,
and
start making a show like that.
And you had talked about, we keep saying about production level, and I know that's might be annoying, but it is unbelievable what they did with this show. Maybe it might seem a little mundane when you first see it because it's really dark. It's a very dark show.
Yeah.
But gosh, the different places they go, the fairies that are flying around. I mean, that's constant CGI that doesn't feel like it because they have physical wings on them all the time walking around. The pucks, like the goat guys, are incredible. I think that actor was my favorite.
Yeah, he's great.
I can't remember his actual name, but he was like a rich puck, which is unheard of in their time. And
It's an allegory for race. Everything in this show is an allegory
it
for
is
race.
100%, but it doesn't come off as like pandering or like it.
Maybe right at first it does, but then it quickly dissolves because the story's strong.
Oh my gosh, the story's so great,
And clearly the pucks are meant to represent black people.
yeah,
The fairies are meant to represent Irish immigrants.
Yeah.
I mean, these groups are meant to represent certain things.
they are. But that to me,
feels-
normally I would get annoyed by something like that in most things. It just annoys me because I don't feel like you necessarily have to have that in everything. Like, just let a story be a story, and they did. Like, that is the main part of it, but it felt like real to me.
Yeah.
I felt like
really
that was a
does.
real thing that all of them were going through. It didn't feel forced at all. It was just, that's what it was, and I loved it.
It feels like Bright mixed with True Detective.
Yeah.
Set in
Really?
Victorian England with a splash of Sherlock in it.
I love Bright.
That's a perfect description.
I love that Bright movie. It was
Oh my
awesome.
god,
I liked
you're gonna
Bright.
love Carnival Row. Then.
So-
that you need to watch.
this is
Carnival.
a
It-
must watch. People, you're gonna love it.
As soon as I finish what I got going on now, it's my next thing to
So
go
yeah,
to.
anybody that hasn't watched that, take time out to watch
We
it.
will
It's a quick watch.
Since Dude hasn't watched it, me and Jerry maybe we'll delve deeper into it on our next episode.
Yeah, I agree. The next thing I watched was another stand-up special,
Okay.
and it was Bill Burr's stand-up
I
special
watched it as
called
well.
Paper Tigers. And did you watch it?
I watched, but go ahead.
You want to talk about offensive?
Yeah.
When,
I love-
we were talking about Dave Chappelle and how he could push buttons. Holy shit! Does Bill Burr go after?
He's
it?
always been that. I mean,
he has, but this just felt
He's in a movie.
so over the top.
Yeah.
He's in an
it was-
upcoming movie. I can't remember what
and
it
I
was.
think he's hilarious. I think it's very funny, and
he's great in Crashing too.
he did a very good stand-up special. But if you're sensitive at all to anything, you will hate it. Because He's just.
I watched
intense.
it. I liked it. I've never been a huge Bill Burr stand-up fan personally.
No, I didn't seek him out.
It doesn't, go to the level of Chappelle for me, but
No,
it was certainly. I liked it. I liked it more than like Jim Gaffigan's special.
I wanted to like Jim Gaffigan's special.
I didn't care for it too much.
A lot more. I mean, it was funny. I like Jim Gaffigan, but it wasn't. Wasn't that great. But we all watched.
If you like offensive comedy and Bill Burr, then this is your special.
And it's super. Offensive.
He was on Joe Rogan not all that long ago, wasn't he?
I'm sure they're
recently.
buddies.
Yeah. Like within the last 2 weeks.
Yes,
probably.
I watched it, and he was promoting his special, and he talked about he was in a movie or an upcoming Batman movie or a comic book movie, and I can't remember what it is. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure what he's in, but anyway, I watched that. It's good, but I wouldn't say go out and seek it out if for any reason. It's short. It's only an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to point out that, especially to women, it will be super offensive to you if you are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
he's a fucking comedian.
Don't be offended.
Yeah,
that's
don't
an
be.
Easy solution.
It's a fucking comedian.
It's clearly jokes. He's clearly joking. Like,
absolutely.
He's not. When he's being offensive, it's clearly joking.
Yeah,
he's in the Mandalorian.
Yes, he is in the Mandalorian.
Oh, that's right.
That's what it is. Mandalorian.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which kind of even gets me even more excited.
Yeah, I know.
So what else have you been watching?
That was basically it. I haven't really watched much else than that.
Oh. Dude, what about you?
So I had to take a little bit of a hiatus from watching stuff. So I've been so while I was in my walkabout.
First of all, when Dude got back from his walkabout, the first thing he said to me is like, "Have you guys seen this?" I'm like, "Yep, we already talked about it on the podcast." "Have you seen this?" I'm like, "Yep, we talked about it." "Have you seen this?" "Yep, we talked about it."
Well, I didn't have time.
I
did not have time to listen to your podcast because I'd wake up at 4:00. I'm at work by 4:45. I get off at 7:00, so I finish my reports at 7:15 at night. So I'm there 14 and a half hours a day. So I come home after I get something to eat and get back to the hotel room. I'm shot. So while I was there, what I did watch was Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah, Swamp Thing.
Yeah. It was very good. I finished it. But the last 2 episodes, I was disappointed because I felt there was more. You guys were correct. I really enjoyed the first couple. And
when I talked to you, you had not seen the last 3 episodes, and you were all high and mighty on the show, and I'm like, you just wait.
Yeah, I was especially the last one. I was like, that's it. Fuck you guys. The Blue Demon's in there. I'm like, holy shit, this is going to be awesome. They're bringing in the whole dark side of the DC universe. This is going to be the magic side, and then nothing.
Yeah, it's because it got canceled, and it's solely because it got canceled.
I can't
believe they would have probably done a lot more with that show, but.
It was great. Loved it. Anybody out there listening to these 2, watch it.
Yeah.
So while I was out there, while I got the DC app on your guys' recommendation,
yes,
I started reading the new 52 Batman from episode 1.
Oh yeah, Tom King
and Zack Snyder.
And the Zack Snyder stuff.
Oh yeah, you started with Snyder and Capullo.
Capullo, bro.
Capullo, bro.
I'm all the way through it, and I recommend. That's what I did.
Through what? What are you through?
2004. I'm through the Court of Owls. I'm through Death of the Family. I'm on the last one.
0 Year? Have you done 0 Year?
I haven't gotten 0 Year yet.
Okay.
That's the one with the Riddler, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Well, they also throw in some.
There's 2 Court of Owls runs. There's the first one, and then there's
there's 2011 City of Owls. So,
and then there's Death of the Family.
There's
another one in there,
which is back when Joker puts his face back on, which is like,
it's awesome.
Fucking, they need to do a movie about that. I mean, what I would love to see is
this. You can tell that was pulled from, I think, the video games.
Yeah,
I think a lot of that was pulled from the Arkham series.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I think that was the probably.
Could have been
awesome.
It's never been said that that's what they did.
Get the DC app and you pay for it, and you can read pretty much any comic book you want to watch.
All of them. It's amazing.
It's their whole. I told the guys at work.
It's a bargain, man.
The guys at work listen to your guys' podcast, and they asked me about it. I said, "Well, Swamp Thing's on there. You got to watch that." And they said, "You can read any DC comic book that's in their repertoire." They're like, "Really?" I'm like, and my buddies,
everything they own.
Justin M, he started listening. He was like, "This is amazing." Yeah, it's awesome. But so I'm on that. I watched John Wick 3 the other night.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
It, so
I need to see it.
Have you
so
seen the
bad.
other two?
Yeah, I've seen
Then you've seen
1
the
and
third.
2. Really?
It's good. It's good. Watch it because
I didn't expect much.
It's the same awesome violence that's in
Keanu
all
Reeves
of them.
is just so good in those. He's
Holly
so good.
Halle Berry's character is amazing. Was that a cricket?
It is
Oh,
a
yeah.
cricket. Yeah, he's made an appearance on multiple episodes recently.
Crickets are starting to get slow. Have you noticed lately? They're
Yeah.
getting like really slow.
You need to
They're
spray.
dying.
You need to get some malathion in this motherfucker. So anyway, it's good.
We're gonna
Watch
push
it.
the YouTube rating on this one.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Um,
And so also I watched Hush.
yeah. Do we
Batman
want
Hush.
to talk about Hush? Do we have time to talk about Hush?
I mean, do you want to do our homework? We've only got it's an hour and 40, so we got
All right.
like
Yeah, let's
let
do
me-
our homework.
Well,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, it's okay.
No,
Cut me out.
go ahead.
I'm just a guest. No, I watched
remember
Hush.
your place.
Thank you, Jerry, because you remind me of it. But what else? And Yellowstone, I picked back up on it. I started a new one.
That's what I need to watch. I've been told
I'm
I
telling
need to
you,
watch
it's
that.
Yeah.
amazing.
Everybody's been telling me that.
Have you seen it?
No, but
Start-
Dan told me that too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one that turned him on to
Yeah.
it. I'm like, it's pretty much our lives, but okay, it's about I've mentioned a couple times. It's about a rancher out in Wyoming. He owns the valley from mountain to mountain, and he's fought for it. His family's fought for it. And out there, it's kind of the same situation we're in. But out there is when these rich people move in from the coasts, the property value goes up, so their taxes go up. So then more people, so they can't afford to pay it. So more people buy houses. So more people buy houses. Property value goes up. So he's fighting to keep all these people away, and the Native American reservations trying to get in because they want a piece of the pie. And it's pretty much Game of Thrones in Wyoming. Blah blah blah. So it's great. And I started a new one. I kind of fell out on Netflix. It's called Another Life.
I've never heard of that. Oh, is that sci-fi one?
Starbuck. It's got Starbuck. She's the main character. From
I haven't seen
Story.
it, but I've seen that.
It's
advertised.
it intrigued me.
I think I actually started the first episode, but I didn't watch it all.
Yeah,
Never heard of it.
pretty good.
Yeah, I'll check it out. It looks cool.
It's
What's it called again?
Another Life.
Another
it's not
Life.
amazing, but it's not bad either.
Yeah,
And I watched Darkman because it was my homework.
that's our homework.
Yes, the movie Darkman
Yeah.
from 1990.
1990. So
Liam Neeson.
I brought this
in
one up
his
last
first-
week when we were talking about 90s comic book movies, and this one just always has been in the back of my mind because it made a big impact on me when I was little, and that's
Okay.
why when we were talking about him and you hadn't seen it,
I had never
so
seen
I'm
it.
like, let's do a segment called Snarf Talk Homework. I think people enjoyed it, so we'll probably do some more of this.
Yeah.
And I like focusing on that era, that those 90s.
I think it could be really good.
So
So we'll have to figure out homework at the end of this episode.
I think we will. So I think when you talk about this movie, okay, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it is because you need to understand the context of this movie, and you need to almost view it through the lens of that context.
Okay.
All right. So imagine an era, okay, 1990,
Yes.
coming off of 1989 Batman.
Yes.
Yep.
The first real, if you don't count the Superman movies, the Richard Donner Superman
Right.
movies, which there was the first one and the second one, which were pretty good, and then they kind of trailed off.
Yeah.
So the big reboot for comic book movies was 1989 Batman.
Correct.
And it blew everything away. And in that time, you had a young director, an independent director, in Sam Raimi,
Yes.
who obviously went on to do great things.
He did a lot of things.
Made a lot of great movies since, but he also did the Spider-Man trilogy.
He did?
And this was kind of his proving ground for that. But you got to understand where he was at coming into this movie, right? So he was coming off Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Oh yeah.
100% independent movies.
Wow. I guess I didn't realize
Financed,
I didn't know that either.
written, directed.
That's
The
incredible.
whole deal. Him and his brother, I think, and then Bruce Campbell
Okay.
was the star of those. But they were
Yeah.
independent movies. So this was actually Sam Raimi's very first studio movie.
Oh.
He will go on to 2 years later direct, I believe 2 years later, the finale to the Evil Dead saga and one of my favorite movies of all time, Army of Darkness. If you've seen Army of Darkness,
Yeah.
you're going to immediately you're going to
Now,
put the parallels between these two movies are
Yeah.
I mean, this is a Sam Raimi Evil Dead Army of Darkness movie.
I guess yes,
It's
it is
filmed in the same style. It has a lot of the same visual elements. It has the same humor, has everything. But going back, so Sam Raimi coming off of independent movies, kind of an it guy at this point after Evil Dead 2. He desperately wanted to do Batman.
Yes, he did.
Or The Shadow. Yeah. Those were his two
Shadow we need to do
choices. I think that might be a homework for the next one.
Yeah.
So he desperately wanted to do these two movies, right? But he couldn't get the studios to. He couldn't get the rights to them,
right?
And obviously, Batman went on to be made by Tim Burton. So he couldn't get the rights, and he said, screw it. I'm going to create my own comic book character. And he created Darkman. He created the story. He co-wrote the screenplay. But Darkman has went on to be a cult classic and inspired comic books galore.
Yeah.
There's actually been a lot of crossover comics between Darkman and Ash from Army of Darkness.
Really?
And
I
Evil
guess
Dead.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have.
I didn't know that at all.
They have Army of Darkness. I think it's Ash versus Darkman. It was a comic book series from the 2000s. So what's going on? This has been at the time, it was a relatively successful, low budget movie, which had gone on to become a cult classic. So
yes,
just the context of where this movie, I just think it's an interesting time and an interesting director, and to then make this movie as a first Hollywood studio movie starring an unknown Liam Neeson.
Yeah, he was very, very unknown. You could see how young he was. It surprised me.
A Frances McDormand, right?
Yeah.
Before she goes on to do Fargo.
Yeah.
And big things as an actress. So it has a stellar cast. And
those are the only two people that are really worth noting.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, we can go in. We'll go more into depth in the movie. But I'll just say right off the bat, this feels like if you appreciate Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, if you've seen those movies,
I have.
You're going to appreciate Darkman all the much more.
If you like the cheesy comic book 90s, like I grew up with, and I watched this and I was like, God, this is horrible. But I'm like, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it's great.
I mean, the great thing about this is
anything.
It's a horror movie. Yeah, so it's a hybrid. It's a horror movie genre. It's a genre horror movie, comic book movie, R-rated. It's a very different movie. One thing that jumps right out of me is the Danny Elfman score.
That's the first thing I put in here. My very first comment is you can immediately tell it's a Danny Elfman score.
It's Batman. It's the Batman soundtrack.
It is the Batman score. It's the exact same thing. Like every part of it, as soon as I heard it, because like I said, I'd never seen this movie before. I'd never really even heard of it until we talked about it last week. And it jumped out at me as soon as it started playing. I was like, holy shit, like this is Batman. Like this is the Batman score. I know this stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's not the exact same music, but it's basically the exact same music. It was that I really liked a lot. I like that.
I mean, it's pretty sad. I mean, where did they come up with as part of this, in the plot of this movie, that we're going to sever this guy's nerves so he's not in pain, but it's going to drive him crazy. I'm watching that, I'm like, because when you're a kid watching, you don't pay attention to those things. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, who does that to people?
Right. All right, we're back, and if you're watching the YouTube, sorry, we ran out of storage on our iPad here for the video, so you got treated to some audio only. Sorry about that. Or if I didn't get a chance to upload the audio, just cruise on over to the podcast in your Apple Podcast app and just listen to it there.
9 minutes.
Yeah, there's about 9 minutes that we missed out on the video portion of this. But if we started talking about Darkman. That was our Snarf Talk homework last week. We gave a really deep history into Sam Raimi and the time period in which this started. So
you did.
From there on, So overall, what were your guys' thoughts on the movie?
It was great. Loved it.
You loved it?
Loved it.
No, I think it's absolutely terrible.
You thought it was terrible?
Oh my gosh.
That's what makes it so awesome.
I'm normally on board with that. In a lot of things, and I get your point saying, like if you're on board with Evil Dead and Army of Darkness and all that stuff. I like those movies a lot. I don't feel like this is on par with any of those movies at all.
Why so?
I would.
I hate
Well, first of all, I don't think it's on par with those movies either.
I
Those
agree.
movies to me are fantastic.
I agree with that statement.
Army
too.
of Darkness is one of the best movies of all time,
they're
I think.
so
Evil
great.
Dead
Well-
and Evil Dead 2 I like, but not nearly as much as I like Army of
No,
Darkness.
everybody loves Army of Darkness. I get that. I do too. This movie is not on par with that at all, and I don't like the story. The acting is just so bad. Like, I don't think Liam Neeson's bad, actually. I mean, for what he has to work with and what he has to do, I think he does a relatively good job at it. Everyone else, though, holy shit! You could have got a child. to
Oh, come
play
on!
these
When the guy starts chopping off fingers, that's awesome.
Right off the
bad
bat.
guy starts chopping off people's
Yeah.
fingers. That's great. I mean,
right off the bat, when they
One
pull
guy's got a
guy's
gun in
fake
his
leg
leg, in
off,
his peg leg.
It's like, are you
They-
joking? I thought that was
that
really
guy
funny
that
in the
always
beginning.
shoots his machine gun from the hip with the long hair.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that guy's
Well,
goofy.
just the first 5 minutes in the warehouse scene where they're just sitting there, just blaring away bullets, not even aiming. You know,
the cars start blowing out of the
And-
containers
Yeah,
and
all over
driving
the
around,
place.
and like the 5 guys standing in the middle.
I mean,
with one gun,
with one
So-
guy.
surrounded by like hundreds of guys.
They
so
kill 'em all.
quintessential early '90s action
Very
movies.
much.
I mean, nothing like John Wick, where
So-
everything is very real. They're dropping clips. These
Well,
guys just
It's amazing to understand from this to where movies have come.
Oh my gosh,
that's
it's
what makes
unbelievable.
It, yeah.
But you know, they made this movie for $16 million.
I literally
But
watched
even-
Darkman and then watched John Wick 3, and
It's
I mean,
crazy.
so awesome.
My
to do
thing
that.
is that so Batman '89 came out in 1989, and I think it's 10 times better movie than what Darkman is.
You see, okay, this is something I knew we were gonna butt heads on. I in some ways like Darkman more than '89 Batman.
How?
Yeah,
I
it's Batman.
When well, no, it's not just because it's Batman.
Well-
I think the production is better.
Yes.
I think the scenery is better.
Yes.
The acting is 1,000 times
oh,
better.
it's Jack Nicholson. And
I will give you the acting. The acting is very cheesy in Darkman. There's no doubt about that. Even Liam Neeson, who I think does a serviceable job here,
Right.
It's a little ridiculous. I do think story wise, I think it actually is pretty good. Like I think it covers. It's a quick 90 minutes. First off, it's an hour and a half
Yeah,
long movie.
I mean, yeah, it was easy
It
to
cruises
get
right
to.
along. There's no real. You don't really check out at any moment in the movie. I think it's pretty good in that respect. I think it has maybe better story overall than '89 Batman.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a Batman.
It's a
story, so-
flawed hero that's more grounded in reality than a Batman. It's clearly a
Yeah,
Batman
he's-
ripoff. I mean,
he
it's
is
clearly
he's worried about himself and like getting back to his old life. So that is more relatable than a Batman story.
Well, and I think the plot in general is more. You know, I like basically the drama of the evil developer utilizing these kind of henchmen to get his project to go through. I mean, I think story-wise, I think it's pretty on point. I think if you're going to have any quarrels, I could see, the production value.
99 minutes.
Yeah.
I got to do all these awesomely bad things at 99 minutes.
See,
Yeah.
I think they actually established that early on
Yeah.
They
pretty
did.
well.
They did.
Like, I think they explained a lot of it really well, and I think that was an interesting plot point going in, to the movie.
I would agree with that. What really bugged the crap out of me, though, is that all of a sudden he brought like one computer tower into an abandoned warehouse, immediately had electricity,
Boom.
and could generate.
He had a
Lit-
little
lit-
5-horse motor
Yeah,
to run it.
lit a fire, and then he's doing which
He
you look
had
back
this-
on this movie technology wise. He had a 4D printer.
What about that vision, man?
Yeah,
he saw 3D printing, and now it's a thing.
And that's what
He did.
I saw. Looking back, was one of the things I noted here. It's like, holy shit, that's
I know
at the time it was way ahead of it. You know,
that
thinking
was pretty
forward.
neat. Another scene that bothered me was when the explosion happened. Why do they have to have him flying out of the building?
Oh, come
upwards
on,
towards the
man!
camera?
That's the
It's
best
just
part of
like,
the one of the best parts of the movie.
I'm not saying it's like bad, but it's I don't know. It was just
They-
unnecessary. Like you could have him, like you could see, like let's say you just see him like splash into the water or something. That's fine. But the whole like
Come
out
on,
of the
it's
fire up
awesome.
to the camera.
It's
So,
intentional.
one of-
It's
so
intentional.
one of my other
That's Sam
favorite-
Raimi, Hallmark, Evil Dead. These are effects. Like when he sticks the guy out of the sewer.
Rick, I have a quote. I couldn't remember the quote, so I had to look it up. Oh, God, don't. I've told you everything. And then Darkman goes, I know, Rick. I know you did. But let's pretend you didn't. He shoves his head up through the sewer
Just
hole.
the goofy like puppet head.
Yeah. Yes.
Or
It looked like Beaker.
Yeah, they did have the great, I thought, a really, really good helicopter chase scene at the end.
Yeah.
But I love the moment when he flips down on top of the semi and they speed up his feet.
Yeah.
Like that's a classic Sam Raimi like effect.
I think you just have more of an affection towards Sam Raimi than you do the movie.
Maybe.
No, you got to look at this as it's not a film. It's a fun. You got to go into it thinking this is going to be bad, but it's going to be
I didn't
fun
know,
to watch.
though. I didn't. It's got like a 6.8 rating on IMDb, which
got
isn't
80
terrible. I mean, there's movies
got
that
an
I
80
like a lot.
They
got
made
an
2 more
80
of these,
than
by
that.
the way,
Yeah.
direct to DVD.
Yeah,
Oh,
Darkman
really?
2 and
Direct to
Darkman
VHS.
Die, Darkman Die, which I've seen both.
Yeah, I've seen them both. The other 2 back in the day.
He actually perfects his skin at the end.
Is
really?
Liam Neeson in both of those?
No, he's
No,
in neither one of them.
Yep.
Oh.
He's like, nope, I got to do Rob Roy.
One of my favorite scenes is in the carnival.
Which part?
The carnival when he's with his girlfriend at the carnival,
And he gets pissed at the carny.
Yeah,
and
he's
like
yeah.
destroys him.
the fucking elephant. Take the fucking elephant.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
It's like shows his like descent into madness because they kind of set it up that part of his powers, if you will, is they, like you said, they cut his nerve so he can feel no pain, but it also like screws up his impulse control. Like he gets super, like he's schizophrenic, almost not schizophrenic, but he cannot control his rage basically.
Yeah.
And then also like he's kind of got heightened strength because of, I don't know, they don't really explain why, but he does have
I don't
heightened
understand why he has
has
strength at all.
huge strength because he has
because no pain threshold.
adrenaline. He has shoots of adrenaline.
Okay.
So he has like goes into like a Wolverine type rage. He goes,
So it's
"Rawr."
like when a mother saves her child.
Yeah, lift up the car.
Yeah.
I do love.
Call me mama.
I do love if you're Army of Darkness geek. I love the end. Bruce Campbell when he's walking away and he turns around and he's Bruce Campbell,
Yes.
who's the main character, Ash, basically.
Yep.
And he says, "I'm everyone and no one, everywhere
Where?
and nowhere. Call me
Dark
Darkman."
Man.
Love that line.
Yeah, that is awesome.
I really.
That is pretty good.
I liked the movie. I think it's quick pacing. It's a perfect length. I think it's a solid story. Obviously, it's cheesy visual effects. It's a low budget movie.
Yeah, it's very low budget. You could tell that the budget is different between, and that's again, I was comparing it to Batman just because it's around the same. It's like a year apart from each other, and it just reminded me of it so much because of the way the score.
The score. I mean,
yeah.
the score feels kind of out of place. It almost sets the movie up. It would have been a way worse movie without that score.
Without the score. Yeah,
You've mentioned remakes tonight. I would like to see this as a remake because once
totally.
I would too. I would see this as a remake.
This
for
could be
sure.
done if you did it like a John Wick in a new technology. It could be awesome.
Is it Phantom of the Opera? Is that what
To
this
a point-
movie is?
To a point, yeah.
It's Phantom of the Opera mixed with a little bit of Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mixed
Yes.
with, I mean,
Yep.
there was
You're good at this. You're
Yep.
good at.
Yeah.
there was
Yep.
clear Alan Moore Swamp Thing stuff going on in this movie.
I would agree with you.
Yep.
There was clear Phantom of the Opera stuff,
And
and
you would
there's
think
clear
that,
Batman stuff
you'd
going
think
on.
that
here.
I would like it because of that. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Just don't.
I
care
love.
for
I
it.
like the idea though, like the fake skin, like basically taking on all these other personas, and I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool.
I think that is a good idea. I'm coming at this movie as a 32-year-old that has never seen it before. Had I seen it as a child, and I think I would have a different opinion of it.
I think when you say the production value of Batman is so much higher than this.
It's better.
I don't. I think
No,
look back
better.
at '89 Batman. It's not that much different.
I think it's better. They didn't try to do. The difference is they didn't try to do big like scenes in Batman. It's all like prop based, right in front of you.
Oh,
It's- I think
they
it's
tried to do
smaller.
some big. They try to do some big scenes in Batman, but
not like the explosion, not like trying to create
you-
skin, not any of that stuff. Like and the visions that he has,
man.
where it's like the crazy like lights and stuff going around. Like that doesn't happen in Batman. So I just think
you're wrong. You look at
takes
some of the
away from
Joker stuff. I mean, they're playing on the edge of the technology. I agree with
What
you.
did they do with the Joker besides like unwrap?
They shocked the guy with a hand buzzer, and you see flames coming out through his yeah.
I forgot about that. You're all right. You got me on that one.
So, but you're right. The production value on Batman '89 is better.
It's better.
But it's still compared to nowadays. The whole thing we're saying.
I can't compare it
You
to
can't.
anything nowadays.
It's closer to that.
Yeah.
89 Batman. You know, it's not that far off compared to where we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly, you know,
all I think is that you can tell that the budget is different between Batman and Darkman.
oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like
It's-
that's where it is.
absolutely.
This is
Jerry,
a $16 million
absolutely.
movie. This
No, I
is
know.
a low
Yeah.
budget movie, which,
And that's
by
what
the
I'm
way,
saying.
made like $48 million or something like that. So
Which is-
it was a commercial success.
back in the day.
It
That's
was not a critical success, but it has become a cult classic. And I think it's become a cult classic because of Army of Darkness and
Yes.
because of
You're wrong, Liam Neeson.
maybe.
I'm joking, man.
I was on both sides of Liam Neeson on this one because like at certain points I thought he was being a terrible actor, and at
Really?
certain points I'm like, yeah, he's doing pretty good.
I think, like you said, he's pretty serviceable for.
I like the
what he
bad
I think
guy.
he's-
I
I
thought
think
the
he's
bad
over-
guy was good.
I think he's
Yeah.
overacting on purpose because he's supposed to be
I don't
mentally
think
impaired.
he knew what he was supposed
Yeah.
to do.
I don't think so either.
You
And
know, like I don't think they knew how to play that character really at all, and because I feel like he changed.
so the studio would not cast Bruce Campbell. That was the first choice for
Why?
Sam Raimi. Well, that's because they're buddies.
No, why wouldn't they cast him? I'm saying.
He's a nobody. Well, I mean, so was Liam Neeson,
Yeah,
I guess.
Liam
but
Neeson.
Time.
I'm sure he was in some stuff, but
No, he really wasn't.
Not much.
He
wasn't
did
in
Rob.
much.
He did Rob Roy.
His big breakout was Schindler's List, which was a couple years after this.
Yeah.
It's 94.
Maybe 94.
But there's Rob Roy, which is right after that, and then after he lost popularity for a long time till he did Taken, and then that's when his career went back off again.
He, by the way, right after this, probably 4 years after this, is when The Shadow was made, starring Alec Baldwin.
That is
right,
one of
that's
my.
what we talked about.
that's
and
one of
I
my-
think that should be
I
our
think
next.
that should be it.
I mean, it was a
homework
novel.
assignment.
It was a radio show in the 30s or 20s.
And I've never seen that before either.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
And if I remember correctly, we take quite a step up in production value to go to The Shadow.
Okay.
So we'll make that our Snarf Talk homework for next week. But back to Darkman, I just think you got to watch it understanding what it is.
yeah.
You watch that movie as a campy horror movie, R-rated horror movie from the early 90s.
Yep.
And if you don't like that sort of thing,
Kind of like a grind box horror movie.
yeah, if you don't like that sort of thing, yeah, it's probably not going to be your cup of tea. But overall, I was surprised to find, despite the obvious issues with the ridiculous acting and the production value, that I enjoyed it about as much as I think I did originally.
Really?
Yeah, I really did enjoy it, and I'm curious to see what other people think because I could see
Yeah,
this being
I would-
very divisive.
It will be. It'll be it's a love it or hate it kind of thing. I think.
It really made me think back to, we always talk about how we hate horror movies, right?
Yes.
And it really made me think back to the fact that I don't think that I do hate horror movies. I think I hate everything that's come since the Saw movies.
I've never hated horror movies. I used to go see them all the time. Amy and I used to go see
I
them all the
really
time.
like those 80s and 90s horror movies, though,
But-
that are campy like this. I
Yeah.
think my issue became later on when they started making like the torture porn horror movies
Yeah.
like Saw
Yeah.
and going forward to that. And that's where I started to fall out and not be interested in horror anymore.
See, I like the thriller. Like I remember as a kid, The Predator. I remember being just fucking so shit scared
Loved
of
it.
Predator.
I don't think that was I don't consider that a horror movie, though.
It was a thriller action
don't?
movie, but
I mean, Aliens is considered horror.
yeah,
Aliens should be also
a thriller.
a Snarf Talk homework assignment pretty soon.
All right.
Alien or Aliens?
Well, Aliens is
Alien.
the better one.
I
in
think
my
Aliens
opinion.
is better too.
But I think
Well-
you need to start at Alien.
Yeah.
So let's go back to what we were talking about before. Shit. Oh, brain fart. Shadow.
Oh.
Sorry. So is that going to be our next homework assignment?
I think it should be.
Yes.
I don't
Yes,
know
I
where
agree.
you can find it though, and we did have some listeners say, "Hey, if you're going to do homework, tell us where we can find it." I don't know where you can find The Shadow. Like Darkman is on
Darkman's
HBO.
Yeah, on HBO you can watch it. However,
It's
I mean,
super- you can rent it for sure.
You'll be
Well, I don't
able
want
to
anybody
rent.
to. I don't want anybody to spend extra
Yeah, I don't want
money.
people to have to spend money. I mean, I know a lot of people don't have HBO, but
I always just say, Alexa, find whatever, and it brings it up.
you can stream The Shadow on. I don't know. We'll have to. We'll.
Give me a minute.
Yeah. Talk about something else, Jerry, while I figure that
So
out.
it's going to be like the
all right.
Alien. So why do you think Aliens is better than the original Alien? Because as a thriller, the original Alien, if you've never seen any of them, you got to start because
You have to start at Alien
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's where you build up the entire story, and I think you get a better appreciation for all of it, especially for what like Sigourney Weaver's character goes through from watching the very first movie of that, because she's not supposed to be a hero. She's like a scientist that's on board with this stuff. Like she's thrown into like the badass hero role.
she's a pilot.
And
That's it.
That's right. Yeah,
She's a pilot. Yeah.
And that's all she does. Like she's not supposed to be the person that saves everyone. She's not supposed to be in that situation. And that like progression of her character, I think, is really cool. So you have to start out at number one.
But I do agree with you guys. Aliens is so much better.
I think Aliens because
game over, man.
That's where they start.
Game over.
I think that's, if I remember correctly, and it's been a while since I've seen them, but
There's so many
where
awesome
they
quotes.
start diving more into the universe. And
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
backstory.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of
That's number two.
that's the second one.
Okay,
Yeah.
number three is the one where she gets into that big like loader suit, right?
No, that's two. That's Aliens. That's at the end of
She, like,
Aliens when
picks-
she's fighting the Queen.
She picks it
3 is when she's stranded on the prison island full of men and she shaves her head because they have lice really bad.
up. Oh yeah, that's right.
Don't ask me how I remember this shit. It's just stuck in my little pea
That's
brain.
funny.
I don't know where you can stream The Shadow.
It's got to be
can't
somewhere.
Find it anywhere, but
I'm on Apple TV. Let's see if it has it.
um,
Oh, there we go.
yeah, but you got to pay.
Give me a minute. What's another great 90s
You probably
movie?
have to pay. For it.
Well, right before
We'll probably have to
right
pay for
before Darkman, and I think post Batman, another one of Jerry's favorite movies come out, which will probably be also Snarf Talk Homework in the future. Dick
What's that?
Tracy,
Oh, we
Yes.
got yes.
and I think we should also do the Phantom because you haven't seen that
Oh,
one either.
Billy
Right, I
Zane.
have it. I
That
haven't
is a great one.
I haven't seen the Phantom.
But I think
one.
let's start with
Dual 1911s.
yeah, let's start with The Shadow. I think,
Okay.
and guys, you're just gonna have to figure it out on your own how to find it.
Yeah, I don't know. If we figure it out, we'll put out a
We'll post it somewhere.
Yep.
But worst case scenario, you can rent it for probably $3. So,
Right.
or you could just give us the $3 and I'll
On Patreon.
on Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/snarf.
And we'll
comics.
rent it for you and then give it to you somehow.
Yeah. might send you a file somehow.
Yeah.
So could you send that in DVDs?
Well, I
Or do-
have the DVD of The Shadow. So.
Do they still make DVDs?
You have the DVD of The Shadow?
Yeah,
Really?
dude. I have every
Back
comic
up.
book
Back
movie
up.
ever made.
Wow.
You have a DVD or a VHS?
I have it on DVD.
Do you really?
Yeah.
God, it's
Nice.
I probably had it on VHS originally, but
That's-
I probably rebought it on DVD in the late
That's
90s.
never going to be worth anything, just so you know.
Well, I don't invest in movies.
Does anybody? Do people do that?
No, I don't.
I
think
didn't
so.
realize they even made DVDs anymore.
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah, for the first time, by the way,
about
vinyl
Blu-rays?
records. We talked about this in the podcast.
Yes.
Outpaced sales for CDs.
Isn't
Yeah.
that incredible?
It's incredible.
Well, why would you buy a CD?
There's no purpose to
There
it.
really is no purpose
I
to
have
it
no
at all.
idea why you would buy one, but I could see why you would buy a vinyl.
I mean, I buy albums just so they give you that extra song at the end off iTunes because I'm a sucker.
Yeah, if you play it backwards, it's always a murder note. Isn't that always the talk? Like you get a secret message if you play it backwards.
That was
Now that's what really incited violence. Is that kind of
It
stuff?
was Ozzy.
Playing those
Remember
things
Little
backwards,
Nicky?
and it's like kill your mother.
The Shadow.
play it
It's on
backwards.
YouTube, Amazon Prime, iTunes, Voot.
But you do have to purchase it, I'm sure.
Well, I think it's on Amazon Prime Video.
I don't think so, but you might be able to just stream it on YouTube, the entire movie. I think
Oh.
that might be the
Yeah.
case.
Maybe.
So we'll see on that. But that is the Snarf Talk Homework, The Shadow. We will talk about that next week.
We will.
And any more on Darkman?
No, I think we've reached our
do
time.
we want to go to Darkman 2 or 3?
We talk about Hush. We got time to talk about Hush.
We don't.
Batman Hush.
We can quickly talk about Batman Hush.
Yeah.
Have you read the comic?
Yes.
You've read the comic?
Yes.
Okay. So, what did you think of the movie Batman
I was
Hush?
very disappointed. It
In
didn't follow the movie. The movie did not follow the comic book nearly.
That
close
is
to
correct. It did not.
Yeah.
And it was
like fucking at all.
point of controversy.
Like at all. Like
And it should be a point of controversy because it's not
it's-
the same thing.
It is
But
one of the
'cause-
best comics of all time.
You told me I'd be disappointed, and then when they killed his best friend, I was like, "What the fuck? That's Hush."
Right.
I'm done. I'm like,
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense as to why they did that. Like, why do you make a movie called Hush, Batman Hush, and then not follow the source material in an animated movie when they've been knocking animated movies out of the park for a long time?
So I think there's 2 points to this that I read that makes sense. They had all the considerations that it had to fit into the DC animated universe. These are interconnected movies. Mm-hmm. So there were certain things that had been established in other DC animated movies that they needed to reiterate or go along with tie in. So I can't. I mean, I read all the points, and if I was more prepared, I'd have them. But there were some legitimate arguments there on some points. Second of all, I feel like they changed the whole point of the comic, right? So in the comic book, it's a wild detective chase.
"Yep,
it is, and
Which
it's
is
like
what makes it amazing.
rogues gallery of
The
people.
movie is a romance movie between
Yes.
Batman and Catwoman,
Yes,
which I thought was
which was fine.
which
I
is
thought.
cool. I mean,
I think they're setting something up, and I think there's a huge comic.
well, I really enjoyed the whole point at the end. She goes, "You're fucking crazy. You're just as crazy as the rest of them." Because he had
which does happen in the comics.
because he
Yeah.
had to
And-
save.
so you think it's
Hush
building
at the
up
end.
to like the Tom King
Yes.
wedding?
Yeah, I think it's building up the relationship there to something further. I thought it was fine that they did that. I don't see any reason for them to change though
No.
who Hush is.
No, it doesn't make any sense as to why
They-
they changed
they
any
had-
of it.
yeah, I
to
agree.
me, I mean,
I thought it was a fine movie. If you've
It
never
is.
read the comic,
you'd like the movie.
it'll be fine.
You'll like the movie if you haven't ever read the comic, but if you've read the comic and understand the source material, it's just not. It's not the same.
Right.
No, I was really horribly disappointed in Warner Bros. Animation because, like you said, so far they've knocked it out of the park on almost everything they've done, and they are known for sticking to the comic book. I mean, look at
Yeah.
the Dark Knight Returns.
They have.
One. I mean, they did 2 movies just to keep the Dark Knight Returns where it is.
I think one thing that was disappointing about Hush as a movie was that it was kind of boring.
I agree with you
yes.
on that.
And the comic is very suspenseful and
The whole
interesting.
thing,
And
the whole
you're at
time.
the edge of your seat reading that book.
Yeah,
And the movie just glosses over
the majority,
the
of what
majority of
happens.
that. So, it is what it is. If you want to see a good animated Batman movie, it's fine. But if you want it to be Hush, it's not.
There's better out there.
Oh, for
Yep.
sure.
So, yeah,
There's quite a few. Anything leading up to that with the Batman story arc is, or anything in DC.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, basically any of them you could
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
I think
So, I think we're at the end of our time here.
we are.
Please go to patreon.com/snarfcomics to support the show. And check us out on YouTube.
YouTube.com/snarfcomics.
Your Snarf Talk homework for next week is The Shadow, starring Alec Baldwin. I believe it was 1994. Find that.
Yep.
Watch it, and we'll review it next week. And send us your thoughts about
Three-bladed knife.
Darkman. We'd like to hear what you
Yeah,
think.
I'd like to know what you guys thought about Darkman. If you haven't
Yeah.
ever watched it before, or if you have watched it before, tell us what you think.
And
If
in
you
the
have watched it
future,
before, rewatch it.
There's
and tell
so
us
many
what you think.
movies we can do because I really want to do Army of Darkness now.
I want
We
to do.
can.
Yeah.
We need to do Dick
But
Tracy.
it's one at a
That's-
time here, Chris. One at a time. So we have we went to Wizard World. Not to change the subject or anything, but I'm going to change the subject. We went to Wizard World and we got a little bit of a gift for you, dude.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a surprise.
Yeah, a little bit of backstory on this. We spent a good portion of our day traveling the wilds of Wizard
Oh God!
Yes, we did.
to find the
What did you
perfect
two get?
to find the perfect gift for the dude.
For the dude.
Because we knew that he should have been there, wanted
Yeah.
to be there.
Yeah, you should have been there.
So-
Wanted to be there, couldn't be there, and we were thinking of you.
Yeah, we were thinking about you all day, and we were coming up with ideas. We found many amazing things.
There was a lot of different things that we were looking at. A lot of different things we did, but yeah.
But we landed on one thing, so I'm going to present dude with his
Snarf Talk gift.
official Snarf Talk gift procured for him at Wizard World
Yep.
Chicago 2019.
What do you got here?
You got to hold it up for the video once you see it.
Is that from Kevin?
It
Kevin
is.
Conroy?
It is.
That is
Oh
what
my
it is.
Turn
God!
it up
So,
to the
so this is
camera.
from the Killing Joke animated movie. I'm correct on that, right?
I don't know
Yeah.
exactly where
I'm
it's
pretty
from.
sure that's from the Killing Joke.
I think so. I
But,
think you're right.
So that is to the dude from it's the over
From-
Joker, Kevin Conroy, and I can't read the last part.
I am Batman.
I am Batman.
I am Batman.
It says to the dude,
Dude.
it's over Joker.
Yeah.
That's
That's-
so awesome.
Yeah, he wrote more on yours than he did mine. It just his on mine just says to Jerry, I am Batman.
Batman.
Kevin Conroy.
Thank you guys so much. I would
Yeah, we
treasure
thought
this.
you would enjoy that.
Yes, it's awesome.
So now we all
Well,
three
and-
have signed images from Kevin Conroy.
And guys, I'm about ready to cry. Because
No, it's
this is one of the Killing Joke is one of the first novels my older brother got me ever.
Oh, really?
So this means huge to me. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, you're
Oh my
welcome.
God, this
We
is
were
amazing.
thinking of you.
yeah.
Wow.
That was our second stop to Kevin Conroy.
It was.
We
wasn't it?
actually met him. Me and Jerry got stuff signed by him, and we left. And we were walking around the con the rest of the day looking for some. We were looking to get like an older Batman comic that was like a graded wall book.
Yep. Oh
Like-
yeah, I remember that. We were looking at wall books and
We
stuff.
found
and then,
one. I did find one that was the book, and I can't remember when it's from or whatever. But it's the classic cover. I think it's a Neil Adams cover.
Yep.
Of Batman on the giant Joker card.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like
He
a
was on the
famous
cover.
cover.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
It's probably one of the most famous Batman
Oh,
comic
for
covers.
sure.
And I found it somewhere, but I couldn't remember. Anyway, so we were looking at from different books, and then we're like, let's just go back.
Yeah.
Let's go back to get him signed from Kevin Conroy.
Because that was on a Friday and there was nobody in his line.
Yeah. But when we went back, the line was like
Yeah.
huge. It was like huge.
It was
Thank you,
significantly
guys.
longer.
So, but we went and did some other stuff, and we came back later and we walked right up. So,
Yep. Yeah. It was
That's-
pretty good.
That's amazing.
And we talked to him. We told him all about you and how much you love the Batman, and that he is your Batman and everything.
Yep.
And he was real into it.
And then he
Super nice
told
guy.
us that you could move in. So next Saturday, you're going to live with Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was part of the deal.
personal assistant.
Right. Whatever that means.
yeah, I got a couple things I could talk. Yeah, we'll just skip it. It's on YouTube now. We can't talk dirty.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, that's what we got for the dude.
Yeah. Wanted to give you that gift. So,
For Snarf Talk, I've been Chris.
I'm Jerry.
I'm dude.
See ya.